What's happening? What's happening? Mm, got a great show for you guys tonight. Great show for you guys tonight, man. Salute to everybody for holding tight, man. Had some had some things I had to take care of, man. Salute to everybody, man. Um, how's everybody doing, man? I'm not always there when you call, but I'm always on time. Gave you my heart, now baby, be mine. I'm not always there when you call. Uh, whole lot to get into tonight, man. Whole lot happening in the world, man. Whole lot happening in the world, man. Salute, salute to everybody out there. Everyone hit the like button, man. Everyone hit the like button for me, man. Everybody hit the like button for me, man. Everybody hit that like button for me, man. Smiggity smash that like button for me. Smash that like button for me. Smash it. Smash that like button for me. Uh, everybody hit that. Everybody, um, share this if you got a social media presence, man. Share this, man. Share this, man. Um, It's a lot going on tonight, man. Here we go. Yeah, nobody hit the like button. Oh man, that's not good, man. That's not good.
Led to this crash, but we have some very strong. We do not know what led to this crash, but we have some very strong opinions and ideas, and I think we'll probably state those opinions now. Because over the years I've watched as things like this happen, and they say, well, we're always investigating, and then the investigation 3 years later, they announce it. We think we have some pretty good ideas, but we'll find out how this disaster occurred, and we'll ensure that nothing like this ever happens again. The FAA and the NTSB and the U.S. military will be carrying out a systematic and comprehensive investigation. Our new Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, his second day on the job when that happened. It's a rough one. We'll be working tirelessly. He's a great gentleman. The whole group these are great people, and they are working tirelessly to figure out exactly what happened. We will state certain opinions, however. I'm also immediately appointing an acting commissioner to the FAA, Christopher Rocheleau, a 22-year veteran of the agency, highly respected. Christopher, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We must have only the highest standards for those who work in our aviation system. I changed the Obama standards from very mediocre at best to extraordinary. You remember that. Only the highest aptitude, have to be the highest intellect and psychologically superior people were allowed to qualify for air traffic controllers. That was not so prior to getting there. When I arrived in 2016, I made that change very early on because I always felt this was a job that, and other jobs too, but this was a job that had to be superior intelligence. And we didn't really have that, and we had it. And then when I left office and Biden took over, he changed them back to lower than ever before. I put safety first. Obama, Biden, and the Democrats put policy first. And they put politics at a level that nobody's ever seen, because this was the lowest level. Their policy was horrible, and their politics was even worse. So as you know, last week, long before the crash, I signed an executive order restoring our highest standards for air traffic controllers and other important jobs throughout the country. So it was very interesting. About a week ago, almost upon entering office, I signed something last week that was an executive order, very powerful, on restoring the highest standards of air traffic controllers and others, by the way. Then my administration will set the highest possible bar for aviation safety. We have to have our smartest people. It doesn't matter what they look like, how they speak, who they are. It matters intellect, talent, the word talent. They have to be talented, naturally talented geniuses. You can't have regular people doing that job. They won't be able to do it. But we'll restore faith in American air.
Man, I totally agree, man. I totally agree, man. Air traffic control. He called it. He said it's like the ultimate chessboard. It's like a 3D. It's like a 3D chessboard, but moving, a 3D moving chessboard with real life consequences. Shout out to Amazing Disgrace. He says, I wish you could get on a panel like Piers Morgan, you'd blow their minds. Yeah, man, that would be nice, man. Yeah, that'd be nice. That's nice, man. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Travel. I'll have more to say about that. I do want to point out that various articles that appeared prior to my entering office, and here's one. The FAA's diversity push includes focus on hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. That is amazing. And then it says FAA.
Yeah, like right there. Like, I mean, like, a lot of people think DEI is only about black people. Actually, the people who benefit from DEI the most are white women. White women are the biggest beneficiaries of DEI. Not saying black people don't benefit. Black people benefit, but the number one beneficiary is white women. And excuse me, this shit right here, this is ludicrous, yo. But this goes to show you how far the woke mind virus went. This is what he's about to say right here shows you how woke overplayed their hand. Woke overplayed their hand.
Says people with severe disabilities are most underrepresented segment of the workforce, and they want them in, and they want them. They can be air traffic controllers. I don't think so. This was in January 14th, so that was a week before I entered office. They put a big push to put diversity into the FAA's program. Then another article, the Federal Aviation Administration. This was before I got to office, recently, second term. The FAA is actively recruiting workers who suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative spelled out on the agency's website. Can you imagine? These are people that are, actually, their lives are shortened because of the stress that they have. Brilliant people have to be in those positions, and their lives are actually shortened, very substantially shortened because of the stress, where you have many, many planes coming into one target, and you need a very special talent and a very special genius to be able to do it. Targeted disabilities are those disabilities that the federal government, as a matter of policy, has identified for special emphasis in recruitment and hiring. The FAA's website states they include hearing, vision, missing extremities, partial paralysis, complete paralysis, epilepsy, severe intellectual disability, psychiatric disability, and dwarfism all qualify for the position of a controller of airplanes pouring into our country.
Yeah, DEI, man, y'all should have stopped with black people, man. Y'all should have stopped with black people, man. Yeah, man, the wharfs, man. And listen, all those people's lives matter. And that got a big thing to do with it. Everybody he just mentioned, their lives matter. But there's certain jobs, man, I don't want to do. Man, don't let me be your air traffic controller. I don't want to do that. I'll fall asleep. Press 1. I might fall asleep. I might doze off. Do not let me be your air traffic controller. Everybody's not cut out for everything, man. And that used to be okay, man. That used to be okay, that everybody's not cut out for everything.
Country pouring into a little spot, a little dot on the map, a little runway. The initiative is part of the FAA's diversity and inclusion hiring plan. Think of that. The initiative is part of the FAA's diversity and inclusion hiring plan, which says diversity is integral to achieving FAA's mission of ensuring safe and efficient travel. I don't think so. I think it's just the opposite. The FAA website shows that the agency's guidance on diversity hiring were last updated on March 23rd of 22. They wanted to make it even more so. And then I came in, and I assume maybe this is the reason. The FAA, which is overseen by Secretary Pete Buttigieg, a real winner. That guy's a real winner. Do you know how badly everything's run since he's run this Department of Transportation?
This part right here is very important. Trump is setting the tone right here. Hey man, look, I don't give a fuck if you're a fucking flaming homo. I'm still gonna take the gloves off and bash your head in. This is a new time. You don't get to be handled with kid gloves just because you're gay, like you have been under the woke administrations, under the woke era. A gay guy, you had to kind of treat him like a broad. Press one. You had to treat a gay guy like a broad. You know what I mean? You had to kind of not try to hurt their feelings, not going on them too much, no matter how terrible they were. Right here, Trump's making a statement like, hey, we don't give a fuck if you enjoy getting your back blown out. We don't care if you like giving head. You can still get crushed. I will still destroy you just like I would any heterosexual man.
Buttigieg, a real winner. That guy's a FAA, which is overseen by Secretary Pete Buttigieg, a real winner. That guy's a real winner. Do you know how badly everything's run since he's run this Department of Transportation? He's a disaster. He was a disaster as a mayor. He ran his...
What happened?
In the FAA, another...
Man, I wanted to hear him destroy Pete Buttigieg, man. Yo, I want to hear him destroy Pete Buttigieg, man. Come on, man. That's what I wanted to hear, man. I want to hear him destroy Pete Buttigieg, man. Or as Biden calls him, Pete Booty Juice. Pete Booty Juice. Trump laid into his ass. Pause. Pete Booty Juice, man. Look at how he changed his profile. Look how he changed his profile. And this is ironic, man. Conspiracy theorists love this. He changed his profile to him holding hands with his butt love partner, with his stinky love partner. He switched it from that to a picture of a river. That's crazy. And he changed his you can tell this guy's a fraud. You can tell this guy's a fraud. Pete butt jizz. Pete butt jizz, man. Booty jizz. Pete booty jizz, man. Look what he did, man. This was his picture before. Why you don't keep this picture, man? Oh, you know the country's had a shift, man. The country's had a psychological shift, man. The country shifted. Pete booty jizz. Look, he got his damn he got his pronouns and shit. Yo, this is crazy. No pronouns, no butt love partner. Everyone hit the like button, man. Support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or Super Chat, man. Andy Armour says, yeah, what amazing disgrace just said. Pledge. Yeah, man. Support the channel, man, if you think I need to go on Piers Morgan, man. If you agree that Piers Morgan need to have me on, man, support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or Super Chat. Oh, Pete's the bottom, man. I don't know anything about that stuff, but I do know that the feminine one is like the girl, right? One is the girl and one is the guy. So let me see. Oh no, Pete might be the guy in this relationship, man. So we need an expert on gay booty love, man. Do we have an expert on gay booty love in the building? Anybody an expert on stanky panky? Who's an expert on stanky panky, man? Anybody? No loves on stanky panky? All right, well, wow. I think Pete's the Pete Booty Jizz. Hold on, is that his name or did the other guy take his name? Because that's how we can tell. If the other guy took his name, Chasten Buttigieg. Yeah, no, he's the man because the other guy took his name. Okay, yeah, the other guy took his name. Yeah, he's Chasten Buttigieg. The other guy took his name. Yeah. So Pete's the top, man. Pete be laying that pipe, man. Shout out to Pete, man. Shout out to Pete, man. Pete be laying that law down, man. Pete, like, man, when I get home tonight, man, you gonna wish Pete gonna tell his husband, man, you gonna wish it was some more bills for me to sign. You gonna wish it was some more bills for me to sign because when I get home, I'm laying that ass out. Pete riding dirty out this month. Nah, but it's good to know, man. Pete not the bottom, man. Pete a real man, man. He is as much as you could be in that situation, man. As much as you could be a real man in that situation, Pete's a real man, man. He said he be pushing turds. Yeah. Pete be pushing turds, man. Yeah, pottery, man. Pete be making pottery, man. Butt pottery, man. Pete be making butt clay butt vases. Dookie vases. Shout out to Pete, man. I just don't want. Listen, if you gonna be like that, at least I just don't want you talking shit and then going home and getting your back blown out, man. If you gonna be one of these motherfuckers like Don Lemon get on TV every night, talk shit, and go home and get his back blown out. That's completely unacceptable, man. If you gonna be like this, man, make sure you go home and you laying down the law, man. Shout out to Pete, man. When you hear fraud though, man.
And I assume maybe this is the reason the FAA, which is overseen by Secretary Pete Buttigieg, a real winner. That guy's a real winner. Do you know how badly everything's run since he's run this Department of Transportation? He's a disaster. He was a disaster as a mayor. He ran his city into the ground, and he's a disaster now. He's just got a good line of bullshit. The Department of Transportation, his government agency charged with regulating civil aviation. Well, he runs it, 45,000 people, and he's run it right into the ground with his diversity. So I had to say that it's terrible.
Yeah, Pete, man, keep making dookie pottery, man. Oh shit, man. I like the British, man. The British people are amazed with Americans, man. British people, they so cucked out that they look at us in awe, man. They're in awe of us, man.
What both the president and the vice president are saying here, Isabel, in their post-crash press conferences, is that the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA in America, has been hiring people not on the basis of their abilities, but on the basis of their disabilities. Now, in a job like air traffic controller, we need no ifs, no buts. It must just be a meritocracy. Never mind if they got one leg or they're a dwarf or whatever. You've got to have the best person for the job. Now, if they've been hiring people, say, never mind that guy, we've got someone with a disability here. DEI, diversity. Let's hire them. I mean, that is a danger to public safety. And if this is the case, if what the president and the vice president are saying is true, this is a massive scandal, and it will wake the world up to the horror, to the madness, the insanity of woeful wokery, won't it?
Well, can we just pause just to reflect for a minute just how extraordinary this press conference was? Because it's impossible to imagine in the UK anything like this happening. It's only a matter of hours since this awful tragedy happened. And, you know, perhaps, and I'm sure the president does know much more about what really happened than he's able to say, although he did go into quite a lot of detail. But it's very early days, and the normal way for a political leader to react under these circumstances is to just content themselves with, you know, expressing condolences to the families and the relatives of those who've died, and say there's going to be an investigation and so on and so forth. Trump has just gone completely nuclear on the subject of diversity and inclusion in the air traffic control towers. And we don't know yet that it is as a result of any mistake by air traffic control that this accident happened. But nonetheless, his theme seems fair enough. You know, demonstrably, there's been a terrible loss of life here, and demonstrably there's been a failure by air traffic control to stop it happening. And his whole theme is that when he was in power before, he could see that air traffic control personnel weren't good enough. You know, he thinks they need to be way above the average. They need to be geniuses, was the word that he used. And he said that Biden basically unraveled that. And as soon as he came back into office, Trump says he had begun to put measures back in place to restore the quality of air traffic control. Unfortunately, not quick enough for this to have been prevented. And, you know, I just sort of sat there jaw dropping at some of what he said. We haven't even got to the bit where he lays into the poor head of the Department for Transport in the state, a man he called a complete disaster, and went on to say that this transport chief just was very good at, and I'm quoting here, bullshit. Can you imagine a UK politician doing this?
Well, Donald Trump has just ripped up the copybook on the way politicians generally, but certainly world.
Yeah, man, they're all of us, man. They're all of us. Pete Butt Juice. Get out of here, Pete Butt Juice. We ain't coddling you no more. Just because you like stanky panky. This shows how long. Look at that shit. Look how long that helicopter had. Wow. But you know what? If I'm a terrorist, right? If I'm a terrorist, you just gave me a new idea. A terrorist, because a helicopter, man, could be used as a way to take down planes, man. Because of its maneuverability, man. Terrorists are taking notes, man. They're like, damn, okay. This is interesting, man. Because that plane didn't have a chance, man. Salute to Pamela Henderson, man. Support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat, guys. Take the $5 challenge. Take the pledge. Look how far away. Like, it's like hunting. Listen, I don't think that it did this on purpose, but it just shows you how, like, with a helicopter, you can literally hunt a plane. And the plane can't do nothing about it. Because the plane's maneuverability is the plane, maybe the plane can go fast, speed up. That's about all the plane can do is speed up. But when it's trying to land, there's nothing it can do. It's not going to speed up while it's landing. Dang. Yeah, ban birds, man. Ban the sky. FAA turned away qualified air traffic controllers based solely on race. We got this brother in here, man. That brother in there looking at that screen like, what the fuck? That brother like, say, man, what that mean right there, man? Brother like, hey, 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 Brad, man. I don't mean to bother you again, man. It's my first week, man. Sorry for bothering you, but what do that mean when it do like that? White boy in there doing all. White boy over there, he doing both computers. White dude doing both computers, man. The white dude doing his and the other dude. Bro, just look confused, man. But the pay good. You know, brother bullshit the job if the pay good. Brother like, damn. Finally got his girl off his ass. His girl been on his ass for years, man. When you gonna find a good job? The brother finally got a good job. Brother ain't giving that job up. He just gonna be like, hey, hey, Brad, man. One more thing, man. Just one more time, man. I need you to help. Sure, Leon. Leon, any questions you have, just come to me. Don't hesitate. This job's far too important. If there's any confusion or you have any doubt, make sure you come to me. Oh, all right. Cool, man. You a straight dude, man. You know, I grew up in the South, man, and white people was racist, man. You not like them racist white people. Make them feel good and shit. Make them feel good about themselves. Like, man, you know, I grew up around a lot of racist white people, man, and it's refreshing to be around a white ally. Thank you for being an ally, Brad. That brother look confused, man. God, no, man. Oh yeah, Trump making you put your gender on your passport. We went from Pete Buttigieg. We went from the Dookie Clay pottery maker, Pete Buttigieg juice, to this guy, man. This is a freak show, man. Press 1, man.
In case you're wondering what it's like being transgender under this new administration.
Nah, I'm cool. I'm Gucci. Nobody was wondering what it was like to be transgender, man. Nobody was wondering that, man. Have you been wondering how it is to be a real man? In case you've been wondering how it is to be a real man, it's refreshing under Donald Trump administration, man. It's like real men have been born and reborn again, man. It's like a renaissance for real men.
In case you're wondering what it's like being transgender under this new administration, I just got my new passport in the mail and they changed the gender to male because of Donald Trump.
No, because you are a male. They changed the passport to male because you're a male. You just mad you can't trick dudes no more. You can't go to sleep no more. You can't fall asleep next to your next victim and shit. If he start going through your shit while you sleep, you might not wake up. Press 1. Motherfucker like, man, I don't know about this motherfucker, man. This motherfucker I don't know what's up with this motherfucker, man. Just keep trying to get all they want to do is give me head, man. This motherfucker gave me head like 50 times, man. Won't even let me touch the kitty cat, man. Motherfucker won't even let me touch the booty. Just keep giving me head, man. While he over there snoring, man, I'm gonna go through his stuff, man. You go through his stuff, man. Oh, motherfucker, you a man. God damn it. Kill your ass.
In case you're wondering what it's like being transgender under this new administration, I just got my new passport in the mail and they changed the gender to male because of Donald Trump. In case y'all want proof, there's my picture, very cunty. And yeah, there's that big ugly M. Yay! In case you're wondering what it's
like. Big ugly M. Fuck you. You're the only ugly M I see. Wow. This is the UK. Where are all their women? Oh yeah, their women can't leave the house. That's the UK, man. Y'all got big issues over there, man. Damn. Y'all got big problems over there, man, in the UK, man. Shout out to Big Larry. Big Larry in the building, man. Make sure y'all support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat. You got big problems in the UK, man. Yikes. Yikes. Let's see what he's saying, man.
Tom Holman showed up in Chicago and within 24 hours found a convicted sex offender who has been living in our city since 2009, flouting the sex offender registry. If he can do this, why can't you?
Because that's their job. That is their job. The federal
Your
government
job's not to keep
has a
the people of Chicago
responsibility
safe.
to make sure that individuals who are undocumented, who have been charged with, convicted of a crime, it is the federal government's responsibility to do their part and uphold the law. Our local police department, along with our public health department, along with our other sister agencies, are working to build a better, stronger, safer Chicago. And as we've stated repeatedly, those critical investments, you continue to see the results of those investments as violent crime continues to fall in Chicago. Thank you very much. Yeah.
The side of Martin Luther King they tried to hide. Shout out to my man Muramasa, man. Muramasa in a building, man. Is he building, man? He said, "What's up, Ak? I sent you an email of a YouTube link. Check it out. It's crazy, huh? Right now? Just now? If you just sent it, I could probably find it. If you sent it like at another time, man, I probably ain't gonna be able to find it right there, right this second, man. But yeah, man. Shout out to Muramasa, man. Okay, you just sent it. There you go. There you go. There you go.
I'm going to be honest enough to tell you that I'm worried about America. Yeah. I'm worried about our nation because it's sick with racism still. Just think about the fact that we live in a nation which was founded on the principle that all men are created equal. And yet men are still arguing over whether the color of a man's skin determines the content of his character. And I believe that the Lord told me to say to the United States of America that is sick with militarism and is sick with excessive materialism. Have you ever thought about it? There are between 38 and 50 million people in the United States of America who are poverty-stricken, making income less than the poverty level. And yet, this is the richest nation in the history of the world. Our national gross product this year will go beyond $800 billion. And yet, there are between 38 and 50 million people who are poverty-stricken. Now, something wrong. A lot of people are afraid to say it. But I don't mind saying it. You see, somebody said to me the other night, don't you think, Dr. King, you are going to have to start speaking more in terms of the administration's policy?
No, that's the same old Martin Luther King, man. What are they talking about? That's the same Martin Luther King we knew, man. The hell you talking about, man? Here go another Dookie clay maker, a new Dookie pottery maker, but he's on our side. This Dookie pottery maker right here, he's on our side, guys.
So look, in the aftermath of that horrific plane crash that came into D.C. last night, we need to talk about how Pete Buttigieg was one of the most unqualified transportation secretaries that this country has ever seen and was an absolute DEI hire by the Biden administration. And this is somebody that really is going to have to be held accountable for some of the things that we are already seeing and that we will see in the future. So first of all, Pete Buttigieg was chosen as transportation secretary only because he was a gay man, for no other reason. When they asked him what qualified him to take this role in his hearing, he said that it was because he loved trains when he was a kid. Basically, that's it. All right. He got that position because he's a gay guy. He had a certain constituency. He rode hard for Biden. He did his little deals. That's what he got. Horrifically unqualified. So let's talk about the enormous disaster, first of all, that happened under his watch, which was the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, that literally resulted in a chemical spill that released chemicals into that community in Ohio. The mainstream media allowed him to skate for this. They did not question him about it. They barely covered it, and he skated away unscathed. This incoming administration and the senators and the congressmen and women that are in power right now absolutely need to hold him accountable for what on earth was going on with the response to that. I'm not even entirely sure if East Palestine, Ohio has been taken care of since that. It seems like it happened a million years ago. I believe it was about 2.5 years ago. Secondly, a lot of news was coming out during the Biden era. If you were following this stuff every single day, there were record amounts of near misses at airports. that were based on really poor quality hires that were going on in the FAA and in individual airports. Now, you have to understand that Pete Buttigieg was appointed as transportation secretary to push the Biden administration's DEI agenda. A lot of people talk about DEI on a very basic level, but the Biden administration's DEI agenda wasn't just about race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender, all that other stuff. It was also about mental differences and differently abled and mental illnesses and all of that other stuff. So there was actual guidance to promote hiring of people with documented mental illness issues, including bipolar, and let alone any of the trans stuff. So that was what the Biden administration was pushing in terms of their DEI. It was Pete Buttigieg's job to push that through the FAA, through all of these different departments that are supposed to keep Americans traveling safely. And when you do that in a way that is not based on merit and it is based on things other than merit, you get near misses and you get disasters. I've seen some people in the mainstream media after what I believe it's day 10 of President Trump trying to tie that horrific tragedy to any of the moves that he's made in 10 days of being president. It's insane. They're lying. They know they're lying, but they expect that the people who have gotten used to listening to their lies aren't smart enough to know the difference. All right. So yes, Pete Buttigieg was a terrible DEI hire as transportation secretary. His failures in the Biden administration's DEI agenda and the way that they aggressively push this to where unqualified people were really being put in positions that they never should have been in are going to negatively affect all kinds of travel in this country for the foreseeable future until Sean Duffy and the rest of the team can get in there and clean this stuff up. And the mainstream media will try to tell you that it is Trump's fault. This is the kind of stuff that led me over to Team Trump in the first place. So what I'm telling you is that Pete Buttigieg is directly responsible for a lot of this stuff that you have seen and that you will see. And if you're somebody that has a position,
Pete Booty Juice, man. That dude flame Pete Booty Juice, man. Man. Yikes. Yikes. Let's see what else is going on, man. Let me get off this app, man. Everyone hit the like button. Shout out to Cool Cat. Cool Cat says Islam was right about women and so was the Bible. Sadly, man. Sadly. Amazing Disgrace says if he wasn't saying this 4 years ago, he's just jumping on the bandwagon. No, that guy That Dookie pottery maker, he's a good guy. He's on our side, man. I've seen him. I don't know if he spoke on that particular thing, but he's been speaking like this for a while, man. He's a good butt pirate, man. Leave that butt pirate alone, man. You need to embrace that butt pirate. Bring him into your fold. Okay? Amazing Disgrace. Bring that butt pirate into your fold. Let's see what this is.
This man you're looking at on screen was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. So when authorities asked, what do you identify as? He says, whatever puts me in a woman's prison, because he's got to spend the rest of his life there. So they take his word for it, put him in a woman's prison, and now all of his cellmates wind up pregnant. And his response is,
yeah, that is insane, man.
He's not a man, he's a lesbian. Let's talk about it. Welcome to the channel. My name is Nate the Lawyer, where we look at the craziest stories here on the internet. And boy, do I got a crazy story for you today. This is Tremaine Carroll. Now, he's a central figure in this case. He is a biological male who began identifying as a woman in 2021. And that date is pretty important. See, in January 2021, California allowed inmates to be placed in a facility corresponding with the sex that they identify with.
So California passed Senate Bill 132, which allows incarcerated, transgender, non-binary, and intersex men to be transferred into women's prisons. You know, we've been having this ongoing national discussion about protections of women with the transgender advocacy. And I think one of the big places that I guess maybe many in the nation forgot to look at was our prisons. And then we hear about the Senate bill, which has been signed into law.
So what that wonderful California law did was say, hey, we're going to ask the person, what do you identify as? And if they say we identify as a woman, no questions asked, we're sending you to a woman's prison. So now that brings us back to Tremaine Carroll. See, he was serving a 25 to life sentence under California's 3 strikes law. See, in 1990, Carroll pleaded guilty to 2 counts of kidnapping for ransom. And then 7 years later, he pleaded guilty for being the getaway driver in a robbery. Now, along with his previous felonies, this made him eligible for a life sentence, and he was given a life sentence. Now, fast forward to 2021, and California has just passed this new law that essentially says, we're going to take your word for it. If you say you identify as a woman, we're going to put you in a woman's prison. So guess what Carroll said? I identify as a woman, and please put me in a woman's prison so I can serve out the rest of my term, which was a life sentence.
Carroll was allowed to serve time in a women's prison despite being a biological male because of Senate Bill 132, the Transgender Respect Agency and Dignity Act, which took effect in 2021. It allows inmates to be housed with the gender they identify as. The CDCR website points out state law prohibits discrimination based on gender identity.
There's no psychological evaluation that needs to be done. This person doesn't need to be on cross-gender hormones.
Yo, it don't matter, none of that shit. See, that's how they get you. This woman is acting like she's against it, but she's not really against it. She's for it. What do you mean psychological examination, man? You mean cross-gender hormones? He's a fucking man. That's it. The end.
Our website points out state law prohibits discrimination based on gender identity.
There's no psychological evaluation that needs to be done. This person doesn't need to be on cross-gender hormones. They don't need to be signed up for transgender surgery. They don't even need a significant psychological evaluation regarding gender confusion. The mere statement is enough.
You heard that right. The mere statement is enough. So when the state of California started asking grown men, would you rather be in a prison with all men, or would you rather be in a prison with all women? Most of them started saying they were women they identified as women and they would like to be placed in women's prison. Here's one guy who was convicted of murdering 3 people. Guess what he identified as?
When Dana Rivers, born David Warfield, brutally murdered a married lesbian couple and their adopted son in their Oakland, California home. Prosecutors say Rivers shot all 3 victims as they slept, stabbing one of the women more than 40 times. Last year, 7 years after the murders, Rivers was found guilty and last month sentenced to more than 150 years in prison. Her choice? The Central California Women's Facility, a prison housing more than 2,300 women and sparking outrage among some activists.
Dana Rivers is a man, and it is the position of Women's Declaration International globally that it's inappropriate to house male prisoners with female prisoners.
This was California. They didn't care about any logic, reason, science. If you tell them you're a woman, they're going to treat you like a woman. And for all intensive purposes, you are
absolutely insane. That is absolutely insane. Salute to D from Boston. He says, peace. I just sent you an email about Sons in Seattle. Have a great show. Oh, really? Let's see. Sons in Seattle, man. The great Northwest, man. These sons are proper up here, man. They some proper speaking sons, man. How much time did that son get?
And it's happened again. New surveillance video captured yet another shooting near Aurora Avenue, a problematic area that's been known for gun violence, drugs, as well as prostitution. The most recent shootout happening yesterday afternoon in the 10th.
It's shocking video out of Greenwood that put an entire neighborhood on edge. A man opened fire into another car in the middle of the day. Detectives worked for weeks to track him down, and once they did, it turned into a standoff with SWAT.
He didn't want to go easily. Instead, he crawled out of a 6th-floor window to try to escape. Fox 13's Dave Detling live outside the Astro apartment building on 1st Street North, where that attempted escape happened. So, Dave, what did neighbors do when they saw all of this going down?
Well, naturally, when they saw a SWAT team here on the ground, they pulled out their cameras, especially so when they saw that individual climb out of a 6-story window. Where he expected to go, no idea, but he created a very dangerous situation, both for himself and people on the ground. Just to give you a little perspective of where we are, right across the street is the Climate Pledge Arena.
I was a little bit nervous because all the SWAT teams just come rolling in and I see them out of my apartment window.
Heavy police presence in and outside Astro Apartments Monday had people looking up and down the building.
There was like no sirens, no nothing, just a bunch of fully armed men.
Pictures and video shared with Fox 13 shows officers on scene as they executed a search warrant for Robert Isabel at his 6th-floor apartment. SPD identified Isabel as the person seen in this video shooting at the driver of a Maserati back on December 28th in Seattle's Greenwood neighborhood. Video from community cameras helped police identify and track him down. But getting him into custody wasn't so easy.
It's not going to go but up.
Or down. According to court documents, Isabel exited a small window and began crawling along the side of the building. The attempted escape witnessed by Astro tenants and people passing by, all in disbelief of what they were seeing.
Hard to believe. I mean, I don't know how sturdy that is. I mean, he must have really been wanting to get away because that's not secure enough where I would put my body weight, so I can't imagine a grown man.
Ultimately, he was taken into custody, and once inside his apartment, police say they recovered ammunition, 2 handguns, firearm magazines, numerous cell phones, and narcotics. Now, Isabel, no stranger to police. Past convictions include 13 felonies, a drive-by shooting, theft, robbery, possession of a stolen vehicle, and more. Now, as for that Maserati, it was tracked down in Pierce County. Investigators say those bullet holes had been taped over, and it's important to note that the driver did not report this incident, nor did they call 911. And when investigators actually asked about the shooting, they claimed to have no idea.
Some man didn't call 911, man. You believe that? You believe that? Let's see some of the victims, man, of this thing, man.
Thanks for inviting us in. It's now 11 o'clock. The frigid water of the Potomac River tonight is a dive site. NBC News reporting crews have now pulled 2 black box data recorders from the wreckage. And in the last 20 minutes, we just got photos of the plane's voice and flight data recorders from the NTSB. Those dive teams are going to be back out there in the morning, working to recover additional victims of last night's crash. 3 soldiers on the Black Hawk and 67 souls on board that American Airlines plane, including crew members, labor union members, elite figure skaters, and a woman from Indiana. Asra Hussein is from Carmel. Asra was an IU grad living in D.C. Hussein's father-in-law told us tonight she was in Wichita for work, a trip she made on a regular basis.
Yeah, she was beautiful, man. Hey, beautiful wife, man. I feel bad for that guy, man. His beautiful wife is dead, man. That sucks, man.
Recovery teams have spent this day in the frigid waters outside Reagan National Airport, engaged in the grim activity of retrieving the 67 victims of last night's deadly collision between an Army Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines jet. Among the victims, figure skaters returning from a training camp in Kansas. And videos of their triumphs on the ice are now serving as tributes to so many lives cut short. Amber Cagliano begins our coverage.
It's haunting video of a young plane crash victim ice skating to America the Beautiful in front of the Lincoln Memorial.
America!
11-year-old Lydia Livingston, along with her big sister Everly, were known as the Ice Skating Sisters. 14-year-old Everly jumped for joy when she learned she would be attending the U.S. Figure Skating National Development Camp in Wichita, Kansas. The sisters and their parents were all on the doomed flight.
Wow.
Brielle Beyer was 11 just last month. She shared her excitement after nailing this triple jump. Ice skating pairs Angela Yang and Sean Kay were also on the fateful flight. They were rising stars, recently placing first at a national ice skating competition. This Russian-born husband and wife are former world figure skating champions. They retired and moved to the U.S. in 1998 to start coaching. Initial reports said their 23-year-old son, Maxim, who was born in America, was also on the flight. Turns out he is alive today, having left Wichita on Monday. 16-year-old Jenna Hahn was the essence of grace on the ice. She was on board with her mom.
Wow.
Shoot, I'm sorry. Former Olympic great Nancy Kerrigan is in tears today. She trained at the same Boston rink as a number of the victims.
I think it's a shock. And then when you find out, you know some of the people on the plane, it's even a bigger blow.
The coaches and the skaters and their families were all in Wichita to watch the U.S. Figure Skating Championships. The competition ended on Sunday, but they stayed on to attend a 3-day training camp reserved for only the top young skaters, ages 10 through 16, on track to become superstars.
It's the first time we've hosted the U.S. Figure Skating Championships. Last week was a great week for the city of Wichita. Intrust Bank Arena was sold out a lot of the time to see these figure skaters in action. And the reason that those figure skaters and those coaches were here past the weekend, past the championships, is because they were giving back to the city of Wichita. They were hosting a developmental camp for those younger figure skaters in the area. And that's what they actually did up until yesterday.
These guys, I mean, they were so young and they had such a bright future ahead of them.
John Maravillia skates for Team USA. He was in Wichita to support his friends, including 16-year-old Edward Zhao.
This is just traumatic
Also gone is 16-year-old Spencer Lane, who was considered one of the most talented skaters of his generation. Spencer was on the flight with his mom and took this poignant photo looking out the window of the doomed aircraft moments before takeoff from ICT to DCA Airport, codes for Wichita and Washington, D.C.
It's haunting in a way where it's like you see a photo like that and you want to tell them that you're like, don't go.
Wow. Yikes, man. That's horrible, man. That just tears your heart apart, man. That just rips your heart apart, man.
At this point, we don't believe there are any survivors from this accident.
A deadly mid-air disaster.
Crash. This is alert 3. Crash. This is alert 3.
A military helicopter colliding with a commercial jet, both then crashing into the frigid waters of Washington, D.C.'s Potomac River.
We are all heartbroken.
3 soldiers lost, and some of the country's most promising figure skaters were among the 64 victims on a flight from Wichita, Kansas.
We're family, and it's a community.
Now, growing questions about how it happened and why one air traffic controller was doing the work of 2 controllers.
See,
here,
one they're gonna blame that on Trump because he fired all those air traffic controllers. But this is something that they do standard, man. They standardly have overworked air traffic controllers. This is standard in this profession, man. Make sure you support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, with a super chat. I'm bring you guys up in a minute, man.
to assure the American people that we are going to leave no stone unturned. The somber task of recovering the remains of the crash victims and the evidence set to continue tomorrow.
Thursday night, I'm Shari Williams. Rick has the evening off. The big story on Action News tonight is that deadly collision course over Washington, D.C. The horror, lightning lighting up the night sky over the Capitol. It's now a recovery effort. Nearly 40 bodies have been pulled from the water. Additional searches will be done tomorrow as crews also wait for heavy machinery to lift the plane and the helicopter. As for the investigation, the black box recorder from the plane has been recovered and is now at the NTSB lab. Tonight, we're beginning to learn more about the many victims.
You know what?
We now know includes
we have so much information about this that, like, the investigation is almost like these investigations usually take years. There's no need for all that, man. We already know what happened, man. We already know what happened, man. We already know what happened, man. Hold on. I wanted to just see what they said about that one guy doing the work of two.
Bodies in the icy water, while the NTSB investigators tried to search for clues as to why this mid-air collision happened. Tonight, NTSB investigators are analyzing data from the black box that was on American Eagle Flight 5342. It was recovered by dive teams late Thursday afternoon. It may hold clues as to why the aircraft flying from Wichita, Kansas to Reagan National Airport with 64 on board collided mid-air with an Army Black Hawk helicopter that was on a training mission. Officials say 3 soldiers were on board and all 67 are presumed dead.
We will look at the aircraft, we will look at the helicopter, we will look at the environment in which they were operating in.
Video shows the Black Hawk slam into the jet around 8:45 Wednesday night as the plane was landing on runway 33 at Reagan National. Army officials say the experienced chopper pilot was on a nighttime qualification flight with an instructor and may have been using night vision goggles. Just one air traffic controller was in charge of both helicopters and planes last night, which routinely happens. Audio reveals the chopper pilot saw the aircraft approaching.
X-25, surgery in flight. This club has an aircraft in flight for separation.
While NTSB investigators comb over the wreckage, we're starting to learn more about the victims killed here. Among them, 12-year-old Brielle Byer and her mother, Justina Byer. They were flying back to Virginia. Andy Byer talked about the agony of waiting at the airport along with his 6-year-old son.
I missed them so much while they were gone. And so we were just talking about, getting together and what we were going to do, this weekend.
They were coming back from a figure skating camp in Wichita, Kansas. Tonight, the governor there calling for answers.
Okay, they didn't talk about what I thought they were going to talk about. Let me go ahead here, man. Salute to everybody out there, man.
How did an American Airlines plane and a Black Hawk helicopter?
Let me drop the link, man. Salute to everybody out there, man. Make sure you support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat. Hit the like button. Shout out to Donald Trump, man. So let's see, man.
How did an American Airlines plane and a Black Hawk helicopter end up in a tragic crash while the plane was attempting to land on runway 33? In the videos ahead, we'll take a closer look at the final hours leading up to the crash, the confusion between the PAP-25 VIP military helicopter and the air traffic controller, and how the rescue operation is being carried out. More details.
Look how quickly they got. This is the investigation here, man. We don't need to know everything that was mechanically wrong with the plane. The plane was trying to land, and this fucking chopper hit it.
All in the video ahead. The plane had departed from Wichita Dwight D. Eisenhower National Airport in Kansas earlier that evening. A PSA Airlines aircraft, operated under American Airlines and identified as Flight AA5342, collided midair with a military Black Hawk helicopter at approximately 9 p.m. on Wednesday, January 29, 2025. The tragic incident occurred as the...
Yo, look at the scale between those two. That Black Hawk is huge. That Black Hawk is huge, my G. What's happening, man? What's up, Raywall?
Yo, what up, Bach?
Ain't nothing, man.
How's the family?
Everybody's good, man. How about you, man?
Same.
Grown up, man. Getting big.
Yep. That's crazy. The helicopter is big, man.
Yeah. It's like it looks like it probably seat like 10 people in that motherfucker, man. Yeah, what do you think about a terrorist, man? If I'm a terrorist and I see this, I'm like, damn, that's a good idea.
I mean, the only problem they would have is it'd be hard to hijack a helicopter that big.
Just go to a training flight. Just go to a helicopter place, and say you want to take a helicopter up, and then just go rogue. Just go rogue. You don't have to listen to the air traffic controller.
Yeah, I think a smaller helicopter might not cause as much damage. I don't know.
Man, you try. Once you hit a plane that's in the air, man. If a bird hit the plane, sometimes they'll bring that motherfucker down.
That's true. And the plane's still going pretty fast. Yeah, I guess it's possible now. It's true.
Yeah, man. I'm thinking like, damn, this is crazy, man. This is dangerous, man. This is a new way to take down planes. If they hadn't, I'm sure they probably thought of this though. They might have already thought about that though. They might have already thought about it.
It's crazy that the helicopter didn't see the plane. Like at night, With all the lights in the sky, it's so much easier to see. I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
them dudes on the helicopter didn't want to die. They
Yeah,
didn't do that shit on purpose. They didn't want to die. They wanted to go home that night, man.
yeah. Maybe it
That
was
shit
the
was,
angle it was coming in at. I don't know. But
yeah, something went wrong, but I know they wanted to go home that night.
yeah,
2025. The tragic incident occurred as the plane was making its final approach toward Reagan Washington National Airport in Arlington, Virginia. American Airlines confirmed that 64 people were aboard the jet, 60 passengers and 4 crew members, while 3 soldiers were aboard the military helicopter. This plane's radio transponder stopped transmitting about 2,400 feet, which is around 730 meters short of the runway, roughly over the middle of the river. This has marked the first major U.S.
I mean, they would have probably landed in like 30 seconds, if not less, right?
that's crazy. Yeah,
Probably like 20 seconds.
yeah. If it's that close, yeah. I fly in my spare time, Ox. So,
You do?
yeah, I just started it up last year.
Wow, man. What do you fly? Cessna?
Uh, Pipers.
Vipers? Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the low wing one. So
Wow. I would
yeah,
never knew that. Shit.
so I've seen helicopters and everything. They normally move out the way, like, and you could communicate with them and stuff. So it's just strange that it happened like that.
Yeah, my
So
brother's
you
in the Navy, and excuse me, but my brother's in the Navy, and he told me today that it's weird because a plane would just move out of the way if they saw a helicopter.
well, he's landing now. The plane is landing. They're focused on the runway. They're not looking at anything but the runway.
Yeah, but I'm saying like if they see a helicopter, they would try and either pull up or land in a different area.
I don't think
But it was dark, so maybe they didn't have the time.
I don't think they saw the helicopter.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
think they focused. I think they focused on because remember they got rerouted to another. Um, they got rerouted to another. Yo, you breathing heavy as shit into the mic, man. They got rerouted to another runway. They were supposed to go to one runway, and at the last second they got rerouted to another runway. So they focused on that. They not thinking about nothing else.
Commercial crash in more than 15 years. From an aerial perspective, it is evident that Flight A5342 was approaching the airport from the south, descending over the scenic Potomac River. This area is known for its proximity to several iconic landmarks, such as the Pentagon, located nearby in Pentagon City. To the north, one can spot the striking dome of the United States Capitol building, a symbol of American democracy. The Potomac River, which encircles the airport and much of Arlington, serves as a natural boundary and offers breathtaking views for arriving flights. However, this area is also densely trafficked, both by air and on the ground, adding to the complexity of air traffic management in the region. American Airlines Flight 5342, which we'll refer to as the landing flight, was on its final approach to runway 33. At this stage, called short final, the aircraft was mere moments from landing, flying at an altitude of about 400 feet. This is the most critical phase of landing, where every second counts and pilots are laser focused on safely bringing the plane down. At the same time, an Army Black Hawk helicopter, identified as PAT-25, was reportedly on a possible training flight. It was flying perpendicular to the flight path of Flight 5342, following the course of the Potomac River. The Potomac River is a designated flight corridor for helicopters, and it's common to see aircraft like this operating in the area. The key difference between the two aircraft in this scenario was their operating rules. The Black Hawk helicopter, PAT-25, was flying under visual flight rules. This means it was required to rely on visual observation of its surroundings to avoid other aircraft. The landing flight 5342 was operating under instrument flight rules, which give it priority over VFR flights in controlled airspace. This system assumes that VFR aircraft will actively maintain visual separation to avoid conflicts. Moments before the collision, the air traffic control tower at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport called Pat 25 to confirm whether they had the other aircraft in sight. Pat 25 responded that they did. At first glance, this seems like an acknowledgement that they were aware of Flight 5342's presence and were taking steps to avoid it. However, it now seems likely that Pat 25 had mistakenly identified a different aircraft, possibly a departing flight from the same airport, and believed that was the other aircraft referred to by the tower. Tragically, Pat 25 may not have realized that Flight 5342 was descending directly into its path. This misidentification could have led to the Black Hawk failing to adjust its course in time to avoid a collision. Although I'm not a pilot, this is what appears to have happened based on the available information. It's a heartbreaking incident that raises questions about how such misunderstandings can occur and what safety measures can prevent them in the future. If you have more insight or expertise, please feel free.
So they were only at the same altitude for a short period of time, too. That's crazy.
Yeah. If you look at that turn, you can see why the airplane thought, before he made that sharp right turn, you can see how they probably thought they were just going to fly on the side of him. And then he just made that sharp turn.
That's
At that point, the airplane was already on its way down, so you can't just maneuver it real quickly.
Right.
Not with that jet. With a small plane.
Do you think the airplane saw the chopper?
It might have saw it at the end, right when it crashed, but because you can see pretty far, like when you're in there. So I don't think it saw him until right there. And then boom. But you can't just pull up on a dime.
Do you think he saw him right? Yeah, yeah, you can see him. Somebody saw him right here.
Yeah. It's not like a fighter jet. You can just maneuver real quickly. The helicopter has a responsibility because they can stop and hold their position.
Right.
Or they can go up in altitude or something. So.
Hey, do you guys think it's that whole DEI air traffic control, like Trump said?
I don't know if this is exactly. I don't know if this is it exactly, but I mean, this one seemed like the helicopter pilot, the one that fucked up, and maybe like the air traffic controller could have took it more seriously. Like in hindsight, when you look back, I'm sure he's like, "Damn, I should have told him, man, go up," or make a left or something like that. I should have told him to, do something, to make sure he wasn't any chance that this could happen. But he probably did this 1,000 times. Like the helicopter, hey, you see him? All right, cool. I just want to make sure you saw him. All right, as long as you see him, I'm good. You know what I mean? Because if you see him, the helicopter pilot doesn't want to die. They don't want to die. They want to go home. So once you tell them that, once they tell you they see him, that they're gonna do everything they can to stay out of the way. But I think he was talking about. I think he saw another plane, and he didn't see that plane. That's crazy, man. I think it was an accident. You think it was a conspiracy?
No, not a conspiracy. I think accidents just happen. Unfortunately. I think it just happened. So it's not always gonna go perfect. So I think it's unfortunate, but I don't think it was a conspiracy either.
Was the helicopter supposed to land too? I wonder why it was so low to the.
It just took
to the
off.
ground.
The helicopter had just taken off.
Just taken off. Okay.
Yeah, it just took off maybe like from Fort Belvoir, which is not far from there. So the helicopter had probably taken off in like the last minute or so.
Someone in the chat.
Awesome.
Someone in the chat said the helicopter pilot was a woman. Is that true? I doubt it. Anyone heard?
I mean, they're not telling us anything about the soldiers. Nothing.
Well, this is tough, when I come on this show, you know me, I like to just make jokes and stuff. And this is hard, because we've lost not only, 64, 67 people, but we've also lost, another plane that could be hauling illegal immigrants out of the country. This is a tragedy.
Wow.
We've lost a viable tool of our betterment. It's a tragedy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like anytime I go to a new airport, that's the first thing I look at, the runway, making sure nobody's taking off or about to land. So it's just weird that they didn't see the plane with the bright
Now
lights.
that you fly, do you feel more comfortable flying when somebody else is flying, or you feel less comfortable when someone else is flying the plane?
I haven't been on a plane since I started. But
here's what I don't understand. Why in the age of digital media and cloud storage and, Wi-Fi and this, why do they still have on-flight tape recorders that they have to find instead of just everything automatically being uploaded to the cloud where it can just be read, immediately following?
It's probably that system will have to be overhauled. It's probably tough. And plus, the hard copy makes it to where it's like, it's definitely, that, I don't know. But here's another thing too, like when you put stuff in the cloud, it can be hacked and shit like that. It's open to being hacked.
I suppose.
So,
it still seems like
it's
even if that were that could be the new backup when they can't find the black box, which happens sometimes, then it is in the cloud. It just seems stupid that, we're kind of relying on 1970s technology for this storage. But I'm not a pilot. I'm just here to make jokes.
I guess it works. So if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
No, but it doesn't work. That's my point. Sometimes they can't find the black box. Sometimes the black box is destroyed,
Like that one flight that just disappeared, like no doubt. Yeah, I see what you're saying, like as a backup, but I mean, there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason they're not doing that we can't,
Maybe they're not as smart as me. I mean, that could be a reason.
Probably so. This guy right here he was the pilot of the
jet
plane, and this this guy right here. I don't know if he was the pilot, but he was one of the. Like, you telling me this guy didn't want to fucking go home that night? Huh?
Yeah.
I'm not
newborn baby.
Yep. I bet he wanted to go home, tuck his kid into bed, and read her a bedtime story.
I'm more inclined to think that this was just a stupid mistake of some kind, but I don't blame people for being conspiratorial because they've been lied to enough that there's no reason to believe anything you're told.
That's true. But I don't think the people flying the plane and the helicopter conspired to cause an accident like that and die.
That would be a better conspiracy for sure.
I'm saying I don't think they did that on
That's
purpose.
what I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you that I don't
okay.
think the pilot. I think maybe he had his equipment had been hacked. Who knows?
Yeah, that I could believe. Like the equipment was fucked up. So.
Yeah, everyone mistakes can be made, man.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's the easiest answer too. That somebody fucked up, didn't see something, and there was talk of somebody flying with night vision, which would make their their peripheral vision might be limited or something. I don't know.
Now, also, when you're at a control tower, you have so much faith in the ATC person. You have some. If they tell you you're good to land, the pilot's like, all right, I'm good to land. Especially with that close, you're thinking, all right, I'm right there. You're already focused on what you're gonna do.
Right.
And
if someone was right there.
Yeah, and the helicopter thought he saw the plane, so in their mind, they were good too. So it could happen.
You gotta make sure which one, like they just got to be more precise. Like you see the plane descending, or you see the plane elevating. Like because one plane was coming was taking off, and it was reaching its altitude, and another plane was descending. They could have like said that. I don't know. But I'm
Yeah.
sure the air traffic controller is having a rough night. He's probably second guessing himself.
Also, for the pilots, if one is ascending and one is descending, that could throw off their perception of what the other one is doing. When you're sitting at a stoplight and the other car starts to go and you catch it out of your peripheral vision, you feel like you're going backwards. That kind of effect, where it's, if you're going up and they're going down, and you can't really, you don't have anything to. I would presume, I'm not a pilot, but I mean, I would imagine that could throw off your potential perception.
Yeah, another thing is ATC is supposed to tell you where the other aircraft is coming. So it'll be like at 8 o'clock, watch out, or at 12 o'clock. So if they didn't do that, that could be an error too. Because
I just don't get how the air traffic control didn't say, "Hey, helicopter, don't take off. There's a plane right around you. Give it 20 minutes."
I just hope there's an unworthy black female we can blame this on. As a white male, I just hate to think this is our fault,
I think this is your fault, man.
This could be ours.
This is your fault. Yeah.
This one could be on us. First one in 20 years or something.
Yeah, that's amazing. 16 years since they had an accident in the United States, and like 21 years since they had like a major one.
Yeah.
Like that's just amazing. Like that's a modern marvel. That's something to be commended. It's like when someone has a hitting streak in baseball and they snap their streak. It's like, yeah, but they didn't get a hit tonight. But look at this marvel at the streak. It was amazing, man.
These 16 years will probably never be. These 16 years will probably never be, done again.
Yeah, because here's the thing: no matter how good the air traffic controllers are, or not, or no matter how much safety you do, it's 3,000 planes in the air at all times in U.S. airspace. Now those little fucking jets crash all the time. Those little the Cessnas and whatnot, and the private jets. Every day there's a crash. You know what I'm saying? From one of those. But a passenger plane, there's like 3,000 passenger planes in the sky at 3,000 at all times. Passenger jets.
Gunfire Eruption has an interesting chat post you might want to read. It's getting back to what I was talking about. This one could be on the white folk.
Look up the tweet. Did you know that 3,000 top performing applicants for air traffic controllers were rejected by the FAA for being white? Yeah, we saw that article earlier. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, but this guy was probably white though. This guy who did it was probably white.
If he wasn't, we probably would have heard by now.
Yeah. So, but I don't think we want to hear nothing about. I don't know. They're not going to tell you anything about the air traffic controller. No way.
Yeah, not at all.
Somebody kill his ass.
I haven't heard anything about who the pilots were.
I also
just
think
showed
that,
the white one.
I was gonna say I also think that when we're looking at the helicopter, it kind of feels like we kind of look at it like how we drive, like looking forward. But when they're up there, a lot of times even the pilot like isn't really looking forward all the time. Especially in training, they're probably like looking at something else, like
When you're landing,
what's that?
when you're landing, you're not looking forward.
No, not the airplane. I'm talking about the
Oh,
helicopter
okay.
because they were in training. So I'm thinking like the pilot of the helicopter probably wasn't looking forward when it happened, and it's at nighttime. You have a lot of blinking lights everywhere. The depth perception is off. I just think it's pilot error by the helicopter guy.
But at that low altitude, you should be looking forward because It's not like you're up in the high in the sky. You have to maneuver and things. So
Hey, so I gotta ask, who do you guys blame for the accident? Out of the two pilots, the
I don't know.
helicopter or the plane?
I mean, the plane seems
Yeah,
to be the one that's on course, right? It's on course. It wasn't like I don't think anybody's even thinking the plane was not where it was supposed to be. But it seems like the helicopter was not where it's supposed to be.
so you blame the helicopter pilot?
I
Well,
mean, until all
yeah,
the facts come out, but that's what it seems like.
they said they saw the aircraft, so they told ATC they see
Some
the
people,
aircraft. So
some people think the collision was on purpose, but I would imagine it's pretty hard to ram even a helicopter into a jet if you were trying to.
yeah,
To time it right and everything, it's probably not as easy as it might appear.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you had to pick right now, if, like your life depended on it, you had to pick somebody. Who would you pick?
I would think just a fuck up of some kind or other. You know, fuck
Huh?
ups happen.
I know, but if you had to pick, you have to pick somebody. Who do you
If I
pick?
have somebody for being for
Like whose fault was it?
whose fault was it?
The airplane guy or the
I
helicopter
would think the
pilot?
chopper pilot, the airplane pilot has his path. It's cleared by the ATC, and he's on a straight line heading into his landing. And then something comes across. It's like it's almost like the chopper ran a red light. Almost, it's like this is a clear path that he's got, and if you're crossing it at that time, it's on you.
I blame the helicopter, to be honest.
Which leads me to suspect it was piloted by a woman.
It could be both though. Like it could be. I mean, when I say both, I mean the air traffic controller guy and the
Definitely,
helicopter guy.
definitely and they've all got so many redundancies and backup computers and who knows, AI helping them do this shit. It's kind of amazing that it happened, but anything's possible.
Chat, who would you pick? Who would you blame for this? The helicopter pilot or the plane pilot?
Well, I'm gonna blame the helicopter pilot because I mean, at the end of the day, man, like the fucking plane pilot is landing, and when you land, you turn off the autopilot, and you gotta hold the plane steady. You know what I mean? Because the plane is kind of like wobbly when you're coming for landing,
yeah,
right? Isn't that right?
yeah, yep.
You gotta hold it steady. So it's like you're focused on that, man. You ain't thinking about nothing else.
True.
The only thing they see is what's in their path on the runway. So if there was another plane on the runway, they might pull up. But like to think a helicopter's going to crash into you, that's wild. I also think the path that the helicopter took played a role too. Maybe ATC didn't think they were going to go right in front of the runway because it was doing some twists and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, man.
Like the airport I fly out of, the news choppers are there as well. Normally, when they see like a plane coming, they'll just hover until the plane lands, and then they'll go either land or take off. Because
Yeah, you have all the control.
yeah, they know they can hover, so they normally just chill. Oh, you're coming in, all right, and you'll see them. They'll just be floating,
That's what
and then
makes
they'll
me
go in.
think they didn't see him because
Yeah,
you're telling me those guys wouldn't do everything they can to make it home that night. They're in the army, the soldiers. They're you talk about experience, the things they have to do, the missions they do in the regions they do it in, and this is a relatively safe mission. This wasn't like they were like in Baghdad or nothing like that, or fucking what I mean, in the jungle somewhere. They're just doing this. This is just a training, regular annual training that you got to do every year to like get a certification or something. And Yeah, those dudes had every intention of just doing this shit, getting back to the base, and then do whatever the fuck they had to do, and then going home that night. And it just boom. I would think that when they both collided, neither the plane or neither the pilots on the plane or the helicopter, maybe at the last second. I think the helicopter might have seen them at the last second, but I don't think they saw it impending. Like, because if they would have seen it impending, like the helicopter would have done something. We would have seen like a deviation, like maybe he just went straight boom into that motherfucker. There was nothing that showed that he some altitude change or direction change, nothing. Let's see what this is.
Carried out by a man in only on 13 tonight, a chaotic set of attacks carried out by a man in Chinatown. And the video we're about to show you is appalling. You see a young child being punched in the face. Police say it was completely random. Who does that? A good Samaritan stepped in to subdue the guy. ABC 13's Alex Bozargian is joining us live with the disturbing twists and turns on this story, Alex.
Yeah, Hong Yang Yin's erratic behavior and rampage started down the street at the Metro bus stop. A woman says he first...
Oh, shit. It's an Asian, a tiger, punching a kid, man. Tiger's like, let me get on some of this action, man.
Before they kicked me out of the country.
Then he started wailing on her. Yin then made his way here to Bel Air Food Street to do more damage, according to police. Tonight, we have exclusive video of some of the terror he inflicted on random strangers. Without context, this looks like a random brawl outside a coffee shop. In reality, this Good Samaritan was subduing a man who was allegedly attacking people at random, getting him to the ground and stomping on him to make sure he stays there.
The crazy guy was speaking Chinese. He said, I want to kill everyone. I want to kill everyone. You know, the nice guy, he tried to stop, you know, he's like getting crazy.
Houston police say Hong Yang Yin's erratic behavior began down the street near this Metro bus stop. It was around 7 p.m. Zhenya's 11-year-old son when she says Yin approached them. He put his hand on the boy's head, and she says naturally, the boy recoiled. I don't know if it made him mad, she says, but then he started punching my son in the face. Yak says when she tried to intervene, Yin started...
Tiger on Umbrito crime, man. That's a new one. Tiger on Umbrito crime. Fuck is the world coming to? What is the world?
Beating on her. Yak says they have no idea what set Yin off, but they were able to get away.
I would note that the allegations are that the defendant indiscriminately and wantonly struck an 11-year-old.
Yin's charges read aloud in court include injury to a child and assault for hitting Yak. However, surveillance from...
Look at them brothers in there like, damn, man, how could you, man? Who does that? Brothers in there like, man, who does that?
For real.
Like,
who the fuck does all that? Like, randomly hit a kid for no reason.
We don't do that. We don't do that in our community. That's stuff white people and Asian people do. Salute to Deluxe 247, aka Calvary Queen, aka the real MVP, coming through once again.
Hitting Yak. However, surveillance from the coffee shop shows him hitting a second child. The family, clearly in shock, exchange words with Yin and bystanders, but eventually walk off camera. It doesn't appear that they reported it to police, but investigators say they're now looking into it. Yin was allegedly combative during his arrest on Saturday. When he was finally taken into custody, witness Angie Hong says she checked on the man who put himself at risk to stop the terror.
I bring him back to the restaurant and help him get some ice. He told me the whole story.
The Good Samaritan suffered a broken hand, but as the saying goes, you should see the other guy. In Chinatown, I'm Alex Bozargian, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
You know, in China, they got this thing called Revenge Against Society, where like a guy will be in a car and he'll run over like a crowd of people walking just for no reason. It's called Revenge Against Society in China.
Oh, so it's a phenomenon.
Yeah, in China they do that. Like a
It's
car
not
will
nighttime,
just
guys. This is not nighttime.
run into people for no reason.
I think this is the slums in China, man. I never knew they had slums in China.
This is not a hallway. These are two separate buildings.
Nearly 1 year ago, I posted this video documenting an urban village in Shenzhen. 400,000 of you have seen it, and for that, I'm very grateful. But when you suddenly have a much bigger audience than you are used to, you start to get very different feedback from what you are familiar with. Some of you took offense to the word slum in the thumbnail. We'll talk about that later in the video. Many of you didn't like the color grading. Some of you didn't like to see my face, while others of you decided to deny that China has any crime at all, least of all crimes of vice. I took your feedback to heart and decided to take another walk through a Cantonese urban village, hopefully rectifying all of your very serious complaints. This time, I take you through Shipai Urban Village in the city of Guangzhou. Our journey starts in the heart of Guangzhou Tianhe district, with wide boulevards and fancy new office towers and apartments. We even got to pass by a nail house on our way, the ultimate holdout against future development. From here, we cross under wide boulevards and over dry canals until we reach our destination, Shipai Cun. Shipai is one of China's oldest and most dense urban villages, covering an area of approximately 1 square kilometer with over 170 alleys and 50,000 residents. Yeah. Just like the urban village we visited last year, this village primarily serves low-income, rural migrant workers who come to Guangzhou from other parts of China. We'll talk more about it later, but for now, we've arrived. Let's take a look inside.
So this is gonna.
I mean, it's very fucking quiet. Let's just say that.
They must love it. Man. They must. The whole place is Chinatown.
My first time as.
It's clean. Look at the ground. This is the slums.
Yeah.
There's no trash on the ground in the slums.
This will be considered a very nice area.
Urban village. This is Shipai Cun, which I guess kind of translates to stone tablet village, something like that. Stone plate village. So here's kind of the main street, I guess, as we enter. We have Zhujiaofan, which is pig rice, pig foot rice, delicious stuff. We have.
They're just different, man. They're different species.
Bigfoot rice, fish eye stew.
Changfen. A lot of good stuff. We'll probably come back later as we walk through here.
They're meant to live together, though. I'm sure it's tough for them to live around other people.
In my previous video, I talked a lot about what the urban villages are, why they are, how they are, why they still exist, who they serve. Basically, migrant workers from other parts of China, mainly other parts of Guangdong province. Today, we're not going to really go into that because you can watch that video and see all the details and nitty-gritty of an urban village. Now, today, we're just going to try to take a little walk around, talk to some people, perhaps. It is Saturday morning, a little bit.
I've seen other videos of slums in China. They're way worse than this stuff.
Kind of see what we
He's
can
kind of calling it an urban village.
And one of the most densely packed places on earth. Right here is a elementary school, Shipai Xiaoshui. Shipai Elementary School. Very, very Cantonese, very Hong Kong, Guangdong style here. Really cool.
Wait, is this in China or is it in Hong Kong?
Further into this village.
China.
Of course, you can see just how lively it already is. A lot of people here at 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning. Here we have some more handshake buildings. We talked about those last time. Handshake buildings because they're so close together, you can reach out and shake the hand of your neighbor.
Wow, handshake building.
You got rooms for rent as well. If anybody wants to rent it, you can scan that QR code and maybe talk to the landlord, find out how much it costs. So they have big rooms, single rooms. They have rooms with 1 bedroom, rooms with 2 bedrooms. I got it all. Here we go. Lots more of advertisements. You can see people are renting a single room. And also, again, Yifang, Yiting. Lots of them available. And they don't have any prices. Here we have a grocer, a green grocer. Fruits and veg, and also other
Show me where you can eat a
products
bat.
back there. Dry goods. It's a
The
supermarket.
energy in this place is just different. I want to see the hood part.
Not a
I
hallway.
want to see
it's a
where
road.
the next virus is going to
Got
start.
sandbags. I guess there was construction going on, maybe. Yeah, the bricks as well. Somebody doing some renovation. Look how close they're built.
The little people, man.
That's why Biden gave Dr. Fauci a pardon, because
Look, you got
he's
units
the one
here
who
on
started
top.
the whole COVID thing in the Wuhan lab. He was running experiments over there.
Those apartments are like
Yeah, Aki, see how they could just leave those mopeds there?
apartments. Those aren't like
Yeah. Nobody
That's
gonna touch
wild.
yeah, their unit. That's like a company with units there. If
Why
that
would
makes
you
sense.
touch it?
I
It's
don't know.
not
But
yours.
probably mostly for short-term stays, for migrant workers, for students, or people who are just coming to Guangzhou for the first time to try to earn their fortune. So right here is Northeast China Dumpling Shop.
I mean, this is a good case of the
Closed
fact
right
that
now.
can be made that poverty doesn't cause crime.
No.
Or litter. Or litter.
Yeah.
Just the entrance to somebody's
I
house.
haven't seen one piece of trash on the ground anywhere. Not one. Okay, is that? I think that might be people sitting there trashing outside their door.
This is the really bad neighborhood.
Yeah, this is.
So once again, like last time, all these bikes you see, all these e-bikes, they're not motorcycles, they are electric. And again, it's illegal to bring your battery inside your house in China. So you got to charge them outside. I'm not sure how these people are charging their bikes. Down here, well, here's one maybe here. Oh no, I'm not sure how people are charging their bikes down here. But if you remember in the last urban village, there was lots of outdoor charging in the public areas. Here, not so much.
They just look like they're
Not
parked.
from what I've seen. Got a CCTV camera right there. Some tabs on people.
I mean, even though this is slums and this is quote unquote
I'm
poverty,
totally lost. I have
their
no idea
IQ
where
is
I
still
am.
probably relatively high.
It's the same as the general population, probably.
Guess can't go this way.
Yeah.
Get in that way.
You see a lot of cameras, though. He pointed them out.
Gotta follow this.
Cameras don't mean
In the
nothing.
thumbnail of my previous
To a
video,
Chinaman, it
I
might.
called the urban village a
Oh,
quote-unquote
yes.
slum. This was
Can
done
you describe the
deliberately as a
assailant?
hope to
Well, he
challenge
looked
people's
like
preconceived notions of
everybody.
what a slum is, or even what a slum could be.
I don't think you want to go to a Chinese jail.
Typical
It's rough.
characteristic of a slum across all definitions is that it is a densely populated urban environment occupied by low-income people. I was in no way
I'm
trying
banking
to
on
imply
not
that these
going to
urban
any
villages are
jail.
bad places,
That's my hope.
but instead to show that just because a place is low income or filled with migrants, that it doesn't mean that place is dirty.
Your family has to feed you.
To pose a challenge to people who harbor negative
Yikes.
feelings towards people they perceive as below them or different to them. The other reason was to show that if the local government cares enough to provide services to these places, that they can also be pleasant, safe places to live that are vital to communities. Other countries around the world can learn a thing or two about how to manage low-income neighborhoods from these urban villages. Some people tried to argue that because the land and the buildings here are highly valuable, that they cannot be considered slums. I find that baffling because most of the residents here are not owners, and there are plenty of landlords across the globe who are rich but can be considered slumlords. According to Wikipedia,
This doesn't seem
of
like
the
a slum.
50,000
It just seems like
residents in
high
Shanghai
density
village,
living
only 9,000 are
situations, you
village
know.
locals. The rest are a non-native floating population who,
Yeah,
quote,
but if you
come
ever
from
been
all over the
inside
country,
one of
mostly
those
from rural
places,
areas,
you'll
dwelling in
see
houses
that.
rented
Yeah.
from villagers, and
I hope
now
I'm.
living in the
I hope
city
I'm never
coastal.
inside one of those places.
If you've seen the videos inside those places, nah, that shit is a slum for real.
Man, hit the like button, man. Support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, with a super chat, man.
Yeah, I was in China a while ago. He's right. The inside is kind of rough.
That I and my wife had never committed.
Nothing works because everything's made in
I
China.
knew why we was there. I knew it was wrong. I knew it was injustice. And injustice is something that I've spent my entire life fighting against. And so I was prepared to fight.
This is Peter Humphrey, a one-time journalist turned corporate investigator who, in 2013, was sitting in a Chinese cell awaiting his fate. His 2 years in the slammer were based on accusations of obtaining private information by illegal means. Responding to this statement is Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijin, who said, "I want to reiterate that China is a country ruled by law." These statements were from 2013, but both before and after this, Chinese prisons were the talk of the town in terms of human rights abuse, brainwashing, and are, according to Human Rights Watch, an alleyway in hell. In this video, we're going to learn about the creepy lifestyle of Chinese.
Shout out to Jeffrey, man. Yeah, we did the Superman brawl the other day, man. I'm tired of her, man. She's fucking annoying, man. That bitch is she's done so much stuff. It's like I wouldn't be surprised if she would have shot somebody at that moment. We pulled out a gun and shot somebody. All the shit she's done.
Prisons. In 2014, Stuart B. Foster published his perspective of a Chinese prison which he experienced under the brutal, authoritarian, forced labor camp system of the People's Republic of China. In his 8 months at the White Cloud District Detention Center in Guangzhou, he revealed that his cell was a small, moldy room, almost the size of a racquetball court. Obviously, we weren't expecting it to be some villa or anything, but what was unexpected was that there were 30 other prisoners in the same cell sleeping on the concrete floors. That means no blankets, no pillows, and a whole lot of prisoners who had to sleep on their sides to make room for others. Each day at 6:30 a.m., they line up to brush their teeth together and use a single hole in the ground as the only toilet. Some rituals that later followed were of reciting detention regulations, chanting communist slogans, and doing military-style marching in place. Stewart describes that at the time it was the Christmas season, so the prisoners would line the wall to assemble Christmas lights all day with only 2 10-minute breaks for lunch, one at 11 a.m. and one at 4 p.m.
10 minutes for lunch? Damn.
Very efficient.
One at 11 a.m. and one at 4 p.m.
Those don't look like Chinese
Plus,
hands.
They all had a 6,000 light quota, which, if not met, would be met with punishment.
A 6,000 light quota?
Yeah, I told you. It's rough over there.
Yo, I would be getting my ass kicked over there. Fuck. They get tired of my ass.
Speaking of punishments, the most common one is withholding the daily ration of 2 hand-rolling cigarettes. If that didn't work, then food rations would be cut in half. Oh, and the food options were rice, turnips, and a little pork fat, which, according to Stewart, was horrible, but was enough to sustain life.
There's no way that's rat.
Some
either.
of the harsher punishments were getting shackled and chained to the floor for a minimum of 3 days and a maximum of 2 weeks. Stewart was...
That's why there's no litter.
Jesus Christ, a minimum of 3 days.
2 weeks?
Isn't this how prison should be, though? Like,
yeah,
it should be hell on earth. Like, over here, we have it where it's like they're playing chess. They got a library. They got weights.
Phones.
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. I mean, I 1,000% agree with that. It's still, though, like, for our sensibilities, like, you could threaten to tie some man. You could tie some man up, or like in his position for like 3 hours, and he'll get the message.
Quick learners.
A minimum 3 days? No, I mean, I'm not saying sons are hard headed, but what I'm saying is this right here is part of their mentality. Their collective mind. Like, they have a collective mind because they're a homogeneous country, right? We're a multicultural country, so we have to cater to different types of people. We also have to cater to the lowest. You know what I mean? So basically, like, what of all these people, the lowest person, what could they take? So that's going to be the standard. You know what I mean? So like over there, Like these people can sit still. Like a Chinaman can sit still. A Chinaman can sit Indian style for a whole day and just drink a tea and read a book and never move. They're very the way they comport themselves. They're very what's the word? What would be the word?
Calm, static.
Yeah, calm people. They're calm. They don't make a lot of body. They don't take up a lot of space.
Serene.
Yeah. So it's like this type of punishment, it would affect them differently. They could sit there and and absorb 3 days of that.
It can help them. It can help them think up new ways to sort of make their 6,000 light bulb quota. It gives them time to think.
Yeah. Sunman, we moving and shit. This would be horrible. This would be torture for a Sunman. Way worse torture for a Sunman. 3 days?
Yeah.
And shackles.
Some man can't sit still. Some man can't sit still for 5 minutes. This is let me I forgot to put the thing up. I gotta remind me to do this. Yeah.
Shackled and chained to the floor for a minimum of 3 days and a maximum of 2 weeks. Stewart was released from prison in December 2013 with a traumatizing learning experience of the Chinese penal system. In this experience, Stewart was protected under U.S. laws inside the Chinese prison, but that's not the case for everyone. Obviously, the guards get tired from this, considering that around 1.7 million people got incarcerated in China as of June 2020. This makes China second only to the U.S. in terms of the number of prisoners. Now, you think that a prison sentence and a death sentence are two different things, right?
Yeah, 5 times our population.
Unfortunately, China merged the two. China is regarded as the world's leading executioner, according to Amnesty International. They've estimated that they've killed thousands of prisoners from 2016 to 2020. The actual numbers are unknown, since China's death row is shrouded in secrecy. Now, as worse as death row may be, there's a shocking use China gets out of putting prisoners on death row: organ harvesting. According to Al Jazeera, hundreds of Chinese surgeons and medical personnel have been accused of killing death row prisoners by removing their hearts for transplant even before the inmate had been officially dead. Now, you may wonder that organ harvesting from about to be dead people could be an advantage, but according to new research from the Australian National University, Chinese surgeons are the cause of the death of the donor. A review in a Chinese scientific journal revealed 71 cases where surgeons might have removed a patient's heart or lungs before a legitimate determination of brain death. These 71 cases occurred between 1980 and 2015. The problem here is that, as the co-author of the study Matthew Robertson pointed out, the physicians became the executioners on behalf of the state, and that the method of execution was heart removal. In 2012, China announced the implementation of the new national system that will mark the start of phasing out the old practice. So, did it stop there? In recent years, China's existing government has conducted massive crackdowns against practitioners of Falun Gong, a spiritual discipline that was banned in China in the 1990s, and Uyghur Muslims, an ethnic minority. According to the tribunal, it was found that more than 1.5 million detainees in Chinese prison camps were being killed for their organs to serve a booming transplant trade that's worth $1 billion a year. Instead of prisons, this practice has moved to prison camps, where Falun Gong practitioners and Uyghur Muslims are the main detainees. Several survivors of prison camps told the tribunal of how they were subjected to physical examinations, including blood tests, x-rays, ultrasounds, etc. The statement read that the only reasonable explanation for these examinations was to ensure that victims' organs were healthy and fit for transportation. You can also see that forced organ harvesting is not just for prisoners, but specific ethnic, linguistic, and religious minorities. They're even detailed, without being explained, the reasons for arrest or given arrest warrants. According to the UN human rights experts, the most common organs removed from the prisoners are reportedly hearts, kidneys, livers, corneas, and less commonly, parts of livers. Based on this, China becomes the only country in the world to have an industrial-scale organ trafficking practice that harvests organs from executed prisoners of conscience. Also, China has the second largest transplant program in the world, which is why. The last promise of not using organs was made by Huang Jifu on 3rd of December 2014. But he did tell Chinese media that prisoners may, in fact, still be used. I'm not saying I oppose death row prisoner donations, he said to a state-linked broadcaster on the 11th of January 2015. If the death row prisoners are truly moved by their conscience, then it's not impossible. According to Human Rights Watch, a labor rights activist, Liu Nanxun, was serving a 3-year labor re-education term in the Shuanghe labor reform camp. During that time, he staged a hunger strike against the authorities. Because of that, he was subsequently subjected to beatings with electric shock batons, denied water for an extended period, and placed in solitary confinement. Later, he was reported to be suffering from a blocked intestine, swollen lymph nodes, and extensive mouth ulcers, and still didn't receive any medical treatment. Many activists spoke up about the injustice of China's penal system, like Wang Goqi, who confessed that during his 11-year sentence, he was denied all family visits just because he failed to memorize the prison rules. And Zhou Guoqian, who served a 30-year sentence and received no medical treatment for his prison-contracted tuberculosis.
That's not the same guy?
Another example we have is of Yeshe Samten, a monk who passed away 6 days after his release from Chaisem prison as a result of the torture he endured during his 2-year sentence. Another brutal case was in March 2014, when Meng Shanguen was tortured with an electric baton.
Are these all Falun Gong guys?
He was shocked till the baton ran out of charge. After that, they ordered the inmates to touch Meng's skin with an exposed wire. At one point, the guard touched Mr. Meng's penis with the exposed wire and said, "I'm going to make you unable to have any kids." The torture lasted until the guards got tired, not when Meng had had enough. As you can tell, getting incarcerated in China is nothing less than a death sentence. Despite the lack of basic needs in prisons, they want their inmates to live up to estranged quotas. Most recently, there has been a trend of prison camps popping up against the banned minorities that continue to be fulfilling the supply for the organ harvesting industry. Do Chinese prisoners even have a choice? According to Huang's statement to People's Daily on January 28, 2015, if death row prisoners are willing to atone for their crime by donating organs, they should be encouraged. Over there, nothing is encouraged, it's all forced. How do you think Chinese prisoners can fight against wrongful arrests and forced organ harvesting? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.
Maybe obey the law?
This torture is no different than what Chinese parents do to their kids when they don't get a A in a math test.
Yeah, torture is relative. Torture is relative. Yeah, like in Africa, the way they beat their kids, man, like it's savage the way they beat their kids over there, but it's just normal over there. No one bats an eye.
The New York State Federation of Taxi Drivers is demanding that the city change its laws after a brutal robbery in the back of a cab. News 12's Julia Joseph has more on what drivers are asking for tonight after this shocking death. Julia.
Yes, Noel. Well, taxi drivers across New York City are now pushing to change a policy that does not allow them to lock a passenger's doors without their permission. This is following a brutal robbery and death of a man on Tuesday.
These two men are wanted for breaking into a livery taxi, robbing 53-year-old Michael Shalonchik and taking off. Moments after he was punched in the face and head, police say he suffered a medical emergency and died.
Drivers should be allowed to lock the vehicle once the passenger has entered and is secured in the vehicle.
That's the call from drivers around the city. And with that, a big question. If the cab driver was allowed to lock the car door, could this gruesome attack have been prevented?
When you go on a train, do you ask the conductor to leave the doors open in case you want to jump out in the middle of the tunnel? No, right? So the same thing should apply to taxi drivers.
Right now, New York City law prevents taxi drivers from locking their backseat doors unless the passenger consents or asks them to.
This debate definitely.
Yeah, you got a lot of creepy ass taxi drivers that use that loophole to rape women. They do.
Yeah, no, you're right.
They're creepy. Like a lot of those Arab taxi drivers on burrito taxi driver. There's not an American taxi driver in New York. In
Every
DC,
now and then you would get one, but you're right. It's all immigrants.
in DC, I never seen an American taxi cab driver in DC.
It's always an Indian, a Chinese guy,
Somali.
Arab.
Sometimes you see like a really Eastern European guy, though. You know, sometimes you get an Eastern European guy. You know, from Bulgaria.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Crazy Russian or something. You should be allowed to say, if you're wearing a mask, you're not coming in my store, first of all. You know?
Fuck no. Look at this shit.
What kind of shop is this?
A smoke shop. They sell all the drugs, the CB, whatever.
Vape shit.
Cigarillos, all that.
Yeah. CBD. That wasn't as bad. Those guys were good kids, man. They didn't kill them. They didn't trash the store. Those are actually good
Hispanics.
kids. They must have been raised right, man.
Maybe they were white kids.
We got some units flying this way. They're headed right on the broken land. 2-1, you can start me.
Highway 31, speed 75, Snowden traffic, coming up to Snowden now, making a right, going towards Broken Land.
Get him down now. Give him room. Give him room. Stop 60 down on Kilimanjaro. Right lane. Stop 6 hit. Stop 6 hit. Right tire down.
Right, go. Right tire down. Go this way. Yeah, stay, avoid it. There you go. Winter Rose Path, speed 25.
Stop stick.
And still slowing down. Looks like they're going to get ready to bail. Yep, Swan Point Way. Let's go! Go!
Vehicle's clear.
Show him. Get down on the ground. Get down on the ground. Hands behind your back. Lay face down, my man.
I'm pulling up there as well.
Get on the ground!
Look, I mean, this is how niggas get shot. This is stressful. This is dangerous.
I think these might be Hispanics.
This is what they do all day long.
Don't you move. I got one back here. Don't you move.
It would only make the national news if the black dude got shot by the police officer. But if the police officer got killed and shot by one of those guys, it would make the local news.
Well, yeah.
This guy's got a knife.
And no mask. Wow.
Damn, so they killed a taxi driver? That's crazy.
No, he died. Taxi driver. Oh, you talking about the other one? Wow, he just
wanted one thing. He's gonna give it to his girl.
Yeah, I'm on the call, but I'm looking for the guy. The sheriff might actually see him right now.
adjacent to him after vacuum. I happened to be at the car wash when the call came out.
Has been updated.
It's over behind you.
Sheriff,
Why were
you
you
go
on
with the
duty? You
address
want to
of
do
the car wash?
Yep, all right, I see him. I see him.
Car wash.
Yeah, go for it. We're running. Hey, stop! Stop! Get on the ground now! Get on the ground now! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Put your hands behind your back! Name 12, I got one in custody.
Can you not be a tag for this vehicle?
Yeah, what? No.
Go with it.
That cop was fast.
Want to catch Negroes? Join the force. Now,
I
Larry.
sleep.
I think Ock is out.
On June 23rd, 2022, an officer conducted a traffic stop on a vehicle after discovering it had not been registered since January of 2020 in West Salem, Wisconsin.
Matt.
It's going to be 16 in Maple Street. They're pulling over here. It's going to be on a black Chevy Equinox X5 times 2.
Doesn't someone have Ock's phone number? I think Wiki has it, right?
Time for dinner, Ock.
Upon approach, the officer asked the driver several times to hang up the phone and identify himself, to which he refused.
Hey, man. Got your license proof insurance?
No, I'm doing this with my girlfriend's phone. I'm calling her right now.
You don't need to call her. Hang up the phone for me. Hang it up. What's that?
Hey, Mom.
Oh, my.
I just got pulled over, and we on the highway right now. I was coming back to come.
Calling his mom's.
I can't hear what
Mom's,
she
come
said.
get me out of this mess.
Ain't no way I'm calling my mom, yo. Hell no.
He's right here. He can hear you.
You want to talk to him?
I literally was about to come back and come grab you and the baby and go back home. That's
I
what
hate
was
these morons with their
doing.
phones.
Okay.
He can hear you though, man.
I'd want to shoot him if I were a cop. I can't do it.
He can hear you. Talk to him.
Yeah, that's what I'm stopping it for. I saw the registration expired like 2 years ago.
Someone wrote the FAA could not hire Ock.
No.
Okay, so somebody else is on it. All right, you got paperwork on it?
Ock sleeping on the job.
You got paperwork or something on it? Hang up the phone, man. It's your traffic stop. I get what's going on now, though.
Paperwork in the car.
Let's get an ID from you first.
He's not supposed to be grabbing at that.
Once he was asked to step out of the vehicle, he put it in drive and took off at a high rate of speed, nearly running over the officer's feet.
Take a second, 1040. How about for me, man?
His mom's going to be mad.
Take a second, 1040. He's taking off westbound 16, taking off male black driver.
You know, when they get out of the car like that, they should just automatically go up and put strips under their tires just to
The
keep them
driver
leaving
was
while
later
they're being
identified as 29-year-old Devontae Bradley. The officer didn't pursue Devontae, but located his vehicle a short time later in the Home Depot parking lot. Police checked a nearby hotel, and they stated Devontae and his passenger were there making phone calls and were soon picked up. The original owner of the vehicle was contacted, but claimed she didn't know much about Devontae and didn't have his contact information. Weeks later, police went to speak with the owner of the vehicle. When they knocked on the door, Devontae answered, and the officer clearly recognized him as the suspect in his fleeing case.
Oops.
607, give me a second.
Devontae slammed the door in his face and later attempted to flee through a side window.
They should arrest the mother too.
607, I had one take off back in the house. He's locked inside.
I think this is the girlfriend's house.
1040. Just holding perimeter for now.
Unless he's dating his mom.
607 information. I was here to follow up on a vehicle pursuit with the RO of the vehicle, and the suspect of the pursuit answered the door and then slammed it on me.
Who is it?
I don't know his name. I think it's Devontae, but
You got
Just got to get his toe in the door next time.
so it's a second door here. There's only one way in and one way out.
So that's the door, and
That's the door to all the apartments, and there's not a door on the other side.
There's a window though.
The second, what's that?
There's a window though, right?
I don't think there is a window.
There's a window in this one.
You want to get 118 over here? Just
Is he already
he's
gone
wearing
or
a
is he
white
hiding?
beard, black male, tattoos. Just keep an eye on these windows on the side over here. Just look careful at the door. He's a violent felon. Yeah. I'm just gonna see if I can get a search warrant or something, and then I'll let you know. Felony fleeing.
Get back. 118, he just stuck his head out the window right here.
Stuck his head out the window.
He's popped his head out. He saw me right here.
Waiting for 118.
That's crazy, man.
He went back in.
What a tough fucking job, man.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
And then if one person makes a mistake, the whole United States law enforcement is ridiculed and man, this is insane. Man. I would have shot that nigga. I would have shot so many of these Negroes, man. Listen, I would be smoking niggas left and right. You make me feel uncomfortable. And I got this fucking gun on me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a damn shame, man, that these guys, for the last, since Trayvon, I would say, really been getting the raw end of the stick. Brutal treatment from the American public. Salute to Frank Unk. He said Jaredism left the flat earth community. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. He Jaredism is that whole thing of the 24-hour sun in Antarctica. That was a big deal to him. That wasn't no big deal to me. I don't give a fuck about that. That doesn't mean nothing to me. That doesn't change my perspective on it. That apparently was what his whole flat earth shit was based on, that there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica. I don't give a fuck about that. That has nothing to do with why I think the earth is flat. So journalism, he can lead the flat earth. Yeah. I mean, that's his thing. I mean, I think he's a very smart guy, man. He's a very smart guy.
I thought you were promoting him pretty heavily on here.
Yeah, I did.
And that there were very few vibrations of any sort. There's a picture of the INSAT actually being deployed from the spacecraft. You can see that the deploy went very smoothly. At the moment of deploy,
there were very few vibrations of any sort. Here's a picture of the INSAT actually
Massive. Why do they have to fake
from the spacecraft. You can see that the deploy went very smoothly.
Why would they have to fake this stuff? That's my thing. If space is real, remember, space is what all this is based on. The only way we know the Earth is allegedly round is from pictures from space. The only way we know about like the orbit and the galaxy and all that stuff is from NASA and shit. But why they fake so much stuff? It doesn't make sense. This is from their websites.
Wait, this video is from NASA itself?
Well, it's going to show bloopers like from their web from the content they put out. It's like going to show like the different times they put out stuff. Like this is NASA puts out a lot of stuff, you know, to show what they're doing, and it's always like riddled with like CGI and blue screens and harnesses and shit like that. Look, if you can float, if you're up there and you're floating, who floats like that still? Like it just like who needs a harness to float? If you
maybe it's a harness to keep them from floating around while they're doing an interview.
Then why not tell us that?
I don't know. Maybe they thought they didn't need to.
No, but when they've been called out about it and they've denied that there are any harnesses.
Maybe they're not as smart as me.
I mean, the fact that that guy almost ran over the cop's foot, that should be enough to like either shoot him or something, because could have killed him.
We looking at the same video?
Yeah, you back a little bit.
We're on NASA now, Cool Cat.
We're looking at space trickery.
Oh wait, y'all
Look at that harness.
Y'all still think the Earth is round? I mean,
I do. I don't know why. I don't know how. I've always said I don't know the particulars of how it, but water doesn't curve, and NASA is fake. So, like, they went to the fucking moon in a Cadillac Brougham, and fucking think about it. Like, look at the like think about that, man. They went to the moon in a Cadillac Brougham in 1969.
Okay, do you know about the space, the moon program Artemis? They're planning on going. They're planning on going back to the moon, I believe, in like 2026 or 2028, something like that. The Artemis program.
Yeah.
So if they quote unquote go to the moon and they have like high definition resolution, images or video, well, like what would it take for you to believe that?
Let's see this. This is Artemis, right?
Than the last time. We plan to explore more of the lunar surface and learn.
So they went in 1969 on a Cadillac Brougham, right? But now they can't get back.
Our return to the moon will be different than the last time. We plan to explore more of the lunar surface and
the
learn
space
how
launch
to
system
live.
is now counting down to liftoff of Orion on its maiden voyage to the moon.
And remember, Elon's doing all this stuff with SpaceX. They're not. NASA is like NASA. We don't see much from NASA. We see most of it from SpaceX.
Let me ask you: if the Earth is flat in your mind, what is gained by tricking everyone into thinking it's round? What's the purpose of that? Or a sphere?
Because when you're on a ball, you don't explore. You want to explore the outer regions of the Earth. Like if we're flat, but we're on a puddle in a fucking big ass ice sheet, and there's other puddles, and there's other land there and other water there. But we just think we're on. This is a ball spinning in space. We'll never try to explore those other areas. That's one reason.
But that's what they are doing. They're saying it's a sphere, and we're trying to explore, and
Yeah, but they're trying to explore like they control what you explore. Like they're the only ones that can allegedly explore outer space. Like if we're on a flat, like if we're on hold on, I'll show you in a minute.
Here we go. Hydrogen burn off igniters initiate. 7, 6, 5. 4-stage engine start. 3, 2, 1. Boosters in ignition. And liftoff of Artemis 1. We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
We are all part of something incredibly special, the first launch of Artemis.
I mean, listen to the inspirational music. Isn't that convincing you?
Yeah.
This view of Earth from a human-rated spacecraft not seen since 1972 during the final Apollo missions.
So wouldn't that mean all of the Apollo missions were faked and staged, even the ones that failed?
Yeah, exactly. It's all fake.
All right.
It's all fake. Like, let me just show you. This is a model that kind of resonates with me, but I can't find the one that I really like right at this present time. Make sure you support the channel, man. Only place you're gonna get this, man.
So you think the Earth is a flat disc, then?
Hold on, let me show you something about. Hold on, here it is, right here. No, I don't think it's a disc or anything. I think it's just a landmass. We're on an endless, infinite ice sheet, and there's a sun and a moon rotating, carving out a puddle in it right here, and then there's other puddles everywhere, and like this is Antarctica. This is why Antarctica. I think Antarctica keeps the water in. It's like a pool. That's the only way that water doesn't act any other way than, you know what I mean? Like this is what I think the world. This is more like what I think the world is. But I think all this is ice out here. I don't think it's like.
Is the moon a flat disc?
I don't know what the moon is.
Okay.
I don't know what the moon is, and I don't think they do either. I don't know what the sun is either, and I don't think they do either. I don't think they do either. I don't think they know what the sun is. I don't think they know what the moon is.
So you don't
What
believe
did
in
you
Big Bang?
No.
Okay.
What did you mean by that the water doesn't bend? Like if you put water in a pipe and the pipe bends, I mean the water, goes where
But it's a
how
vessel.
the pipe goes.
It's a vessel that's causing it to bend.
As opposed to water just on the surface of the
Wouldn't the
land.
Earth be the vessel because of the mass and gravity of Earth to make it bend
Yeah,
around the Earth?
I don't know about the gravity. I think gravity's still gravity's still like a theory to me, man. I don't think gravity explains why things fall, why things go down. I think things go down because like maybe electromagnetic, thing like that or something like that. But I think things fall down and some things go up. Balloons, steam, some things do go up. So most things fall. I mean, I think it's more about mass and things like that, weight and shit like that, density. But a lot of things go up. A lot of things go up.
Yeah, but if you jump off a building, you're not gonna go up. You're gonna go down because of gravity.
Yeah, but that's what we've learned. Like you gotta understand, we've learned all these things in school. I think about people who learn about race relations in school, like these kids that learn about uh, BLM and all this woke stuff in school. They don't doubt that stuff. They're so adamant about that stuff because they learned it in school.
Yeah.
We learned this stuff in school.
Do you believe in God?
I believe in a higher power. Yes, I believe in God. I will say this. Here's the thing. Anybody who says they don't believe in God, put them in a tough situation and they'll believe in God. So I think God, the God of having your back against the wall. I believe in the God of being in a fucking airplane during turbulence. You ever been on an airplane when it's turbulence? I
Yes.
believe the God of turbulence. I believe in the God. I believe in the God, a God of a gun to your head, some ninja putting a gun to your head, bouncing around asking you for your money you ain't got. I believe in the God of that.
Well, I did hear one atheist say that because there's a famous saying that there's no atheists in foxholes, and the atheist said that may be true, but there's also no God in a foxhole either.
Yeah, but you gonna I bet you gonna look for him.
Right.
But you
Right. I
gonna look
agree with
for him
that.
in the foxhole. And you looking for him and other people looking for him makes him real. So yeah,
Hey, on a real quick side note, real quick, because I watch your other your WNBA channel too. It's very entertaining,
mhm.
informative. You know that troll account, right? Dr. Philip Oliver
Oliver
Holtz.
Holmes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was just wondering, like, you get the name pun, right? Like,
Yeah, fill up all of her
okay,
holes.
yeah, all
Yeah.
right.
No, but what I'm saying is I don't usually say it all the way because they like strike my videos when I say fill up
Oh,
all of
okay, I got you. So you're consciously okay. Yeah, because I figured I was
them.
like, oh, I wanted to mention that.
Yeah. Yeah, they did that before. Yeah, I had to like wait to get it monetized and shit because I said because I guess the algorithm heard me saying fill up all of her holes.
Wait, but what did you say that made them give you a strike again?
No, they didn't give me a strike. They just like with YouTube when you upload a video, they even make it yellow or green. Yellow means it's good for some advertisers. Basically not monetized. The green means it's monetized.
Which
So
means they still get the money, but you don't.
Exactly. Exactly. But you get to get your message out. But yeah, I just don't think you would have to fake NASA wouldn't have to fake this stuff if like let's look at Artemis. Let's look at this shit. Let's really just think about just think about this shit, man. Just really just think look at what these fuckers are doing. They have to put out content to keep us happy about what they're doing. Look at this guy, fucking liar. Look at him, he's a fucking liar. You can tell, you can just feel liars and shit. All astronauts are liars. They're always smiling. You notice, like, this is the.
How are they liars because you're smiling, right? Come on.
And then of course you got a black one. He's not smiling. He's serious.
He's got an Obama vibe.
They said the black one don't smile because everything is performative with these people, man.
Well,
everything's performative.
You are right about that because they know they're on camera, so it's kind of like put your best face forward. You're brave. You're smiling. You're excited. But it doesn't mean that they're lying about the entire mission. You know.
Yeah, but I think they are. I think that does mean, like you're gonna be hurtling out in space. Space is a vacuum, right? And it's freezing up there, right? And it's oxygen. Like when your fucking helmet is snapped on by something, wouldn't it just be seamless? Wouldn't it be better for it to just be seamless? So this guy snaps your helmet on, and you're up there in space, and nothing ever goes wrong. But when stuff does go wrong, you just go on the outside of the ship and fix it. You just open up the door of the ship and then float out there and screw some bolt on, and everything's okay.
Man, if you're right about all this, and we find out that this was all just a fake thing ever since the '60s, man, I mean, this would just like destroy my entire worldview on so much stuff, man. If you're right about it, this would be so insane to me.
Don't worry, I think you're gonna be okay.
And I'm not saying that these people probably aren't ex-pilots or fighter, pilots or in the Air Force or nothing. But I'm saying this is bullshit. What they're doing now, this right here is bullshit. Like this is all horseshit. Like
But if it wasn't horseshit, then what would you expect
Washington, D.C.
for something to be not horseshit? That if it was real, what would you expect?
He'd have to be loaded on a rocket and shown with his own eyes.
Right.
No, I mean, it would have to feel real. It would have to, like, I'm not trying to sit here and act like, I'm not trying to sit here and act like, I know everything. Exactly. It just feels fucking fake.
I'm Sunny Williams. I'm up here on the
Like
International Space
anything would
Station.
feel fake. Like if a dude was on here saying he was a fucking gigolo or something in Japan and some shit. We were talking to him, and I was like, "Yo, this dude's fake." Like just like anything is fake.
Here's a question: what's shooting that shot you were just looking at?
No
What was shooting the outside of the space station? Where's that shot from? Just curious. Not that I doubt it.
Yeah. Like so, there's something else that can be at the same orbit. They'll probably say a satellite. But where are the other satellites? There's thousands of satellites out there. Where
Maybe a
the
very
other
long selfie stick, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly.
International Space Station. So this is Node 2. This is a really cool
A lot of hairspray there.
module. Of course,
Yeah.
most of these modules you'll see they have 4 sides.
And why is she out there? Like, why is she out there? And why is everything like? What if she just while she's floating, she actually unhooks this? Like, why is everything just?
Yeah,
and they're put together.
that's one of the embarrassing things about the ISS is they show how old it is, but then I think they showed like what was it? I think the Japanese space station or Chinese one. I mean, it looks like it
all the
looks so
countries are
much
in
more
on it.
advanced.
Yeah, this thing's
All the
30,
countries are in on
25
it.
years old.
All the countries are in on it. But
Oh,
here's
all
the
the
thing.
okay.
Here's the thing. It doesn't matter how old it is. They've been going to space. So like it wouldn't matter how old this is. During that time, it's kind of like this, right? Like life in the 90s. Like, right, let's just look at, you know what? Let's just look at life in the 90s. We don't even have to go back to the 60s, man. Just
Life
look
in the
at
90s was
life
pretty
in
good.
No, but look at the type of stuff that you had, the type of technology that you would have in your house and shit. The way
The 1990s was a decade that was begging to be different from the previous decades. Technology was moving fast and we were trying our best to keep up with it. Overall, we did a pretty good job doing that with some of the home decor that was. Many people in the 90s tried their hand at being artistic by sponge painting entire walls and rooms. The bottom of the couch tops, computers, and even
look at that
couches.
computer. This is 30 years after they went to the fucking moon. That computer right there. You couldn't do shit on that but play fucking Pac-Man and shit. You couldn't even do a fucking email in the early 90s. It wasn't until like the mid 90s when email came out and shit. I'm trying to show like just a house from the 90s or something. Because it's like they want us to believe that people were just like in the 60s, people had the technology to go to the moon. That guy who's doing this, he has a big ass fucking camera on his fucking shoulder. The guy who's recording this shit. Look at the cars. Look at the fucking cars. This is the 90s. Look at the fucking cars. Look at the cars. Look at like it's this is the 90s. This is 30 years after fucking we went to the moon.
Yeah, but if you look at like aviation in the 90s, right? Our fighter jets, we had the B-1 bomb or whatever that looks like a fucking triangle. I mean, we had like really advanced technology back then when it comes to aviation.
Supposedly we have way more advanced technology, but it's just not in
the
public's eye.
We do have more.
I believe that.
We do have more technology because we've got things like aircraft carriers and all that.
Anti-gravity. Very fond memories of the 90s myself. I love the pre-internet age.
Yeah. Look at this. They went to the fucking moon during this time.
Fun is frosting, fluffy, white, swirling, high. Pillsbury, too. Light the candles of fun on your golden yellow cake. Pillsbury Deluxe.
You see, you mentioned yellow cake, right?
There were no trans people back then. It was great.
There was no color.
Makes it tenderly moist.
There was no color. They
brings
didn't
out
even
the
have color
flavor,
TV.
the fun. Wasn't your Pillsbury golden yellow cake
They went
fun?
to the fucking moon.
While it
Called the
lasted.
president from the moon. We had a conversation on the phone with the president from the fucking moon. And there wasn't no color TV yet.
Well, I think
well, there was
I
color
saw
TV.
some art. I saw some video on YouTube that explained how they were able to relay the calls from the the moon to then. I think they had some sort of a satellite that was orbiting, that was taking that recording and then
A
beaming it down to.
1969 satellite. A 1969 satellite.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something similar to that. I mean, if you watch some videos, you can do like how were they able to communicate, and it kind of broke it down how they did that.
Yeah, I mean, you can always explain, hypothesize, but guess what? They lost all their stuff. Remember, they can't get back because they lost all the technology. So they lost everything. So they don't have to explain it.
I never heard that it was because they lost the technology. I've heard people who speak conspiratorially about the moon launches and somehow we can't get back. But I always heard it was like budget was one of the biggest things. It's like it costs a lot of money to have a space program, and we lost interest in it after a few moon launches.
I think the whole thing about space race war, they said that once we achieved that ultimate goal of going to the moon, we kind of lost interest in going back.
For
And
50
as a matter of fact,
years.
they did go back. It wasn't only one time they went. They went back a couple of times to the moon.
No, but like 1973 allegedly was like the last time they went back. So they didn't want to go back. Look at. I mean, this is the production value of TV shows, man.
It's like you don't even have faith in gliders, man. We do amazing shit. We definitely went to the moon, and look at the advances in just your computer to your phone, man. Just since the 90s, that's real, isn't it? I mean, you could sail the ocean in a wooden ship, or you could sail the ocean in a steamliner, or you could sail the ocean in a nuclear sub. You're making the trip. And in 1969, they made the trip in the age of solid state transistors, before integrated circuits were fully in effect, I guess. But all that stuff has a logical, easily trackable evolution.
Here's the NFL championship game opening. 1969.
Hey, it's in color, man. I thought you said it's only in black and white.
But you also have to understand this is an artistic evolution as well. I mean, this seems slow and lame by today's standards, but even that evolves,
Yeah, but they're using the best things they have at the time. You can't tell me that they're not using the best things they have to convey their programming at the time.
Brought to you by Standard Oil Division, American Oil Company, who reminds you that you expect more from Standard, and you get it. And by new True Filter cigarettes, with or without menthol.
It's so great, man.
And by Ford, who brings you better ideas for 1970.
I mean, I would look at it in the way of the 1300s, where you have these rudimentary, like, sort of ships that are sailing these seas, going from one continent to another, the Atlantic Ocean and stuff. That was like the early stages.
No, I get you but you know how many ships they lost back in those days? Look at the cars. The hot cars. This is the hot car. So you're telling me that this is not the best car technology? They're like, well, we got great shit. We're not going to put it out right now because
it has to be, commercially useful at scale.
We're waiting for 2006 to put the hot shit out in a free market.
Pontiac Clown Air 366 horse.
When you go from a horse dragging a carriage to a modern, a Lambo, there's an evolution, and you can trace every step of the way that gets you there. And it all has to do with funding and research and development and production techniques, and it's not fake, man.
Yeah. Okay. For example, let's say they didn't go there, right? Do you think we have the technology now? Like, because they're they're saying they're going to go back to the moon.
I
I
don't
think in
even think they
2020.
know what the moon is, whether it's a hologram or it could be. The moon could be something we don't understand, like the matter as we know it on Earth. We don't know what that is. It's first of all, it's so far away. Like planes, like if think about it, if you're a plane and you go too high, you freeze all the passengers. But they go up high and nothing happens. Like here's the thing. Here's the thing. Look at like that's a helicopter. They didn't have drones back then. Any aerial footage from those days is being done from a helicopter. They didn't have drones. They didn't have fucking drones back then. And okay, unless you're gonna say, yeah, they had drone technology, but the military was using it. And they said we're gonna wait till 2000s to release it to the public in a free market. Where soldiers are going to war and then coming back and just not mentioning it. No soldier ever mentions. All the soldiers go to war and use the drones, and then they come back, and not one of the junkies in a wheelchair, coked out on the street, mentions the drones. It's a lot. It's a lot that you have to. It's usually they require a lot from you to keep it going. You know what I mean? Will you say that?
I mean, I guess okay. So let me ask you, like, were you always skeptical about this, or did you become convinced by watching
No,
all
when I
that?
was growing up, I the second I heard it, I believed it. I didn't need convincing that, like that. I didn't have to watch a bunch of flat earth. The second I heard about it, I said, "Oh yeah, that resonated with me completely." The second I heard it, it's kind of like a beautiful woman. She's either beautiful or not. If you got to keep looking at her or you see a fat ass or some big titties, you got to wait a second. Are those titties really big? Or you know what I mean? Like you just the second you see it, you know what I mean? It just resonates with you. But no,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
grew up
to me,
thinking about. I grew
the fat
up
ass
like
is
everybody else.
to me the fat ass is the fact that they went up there. Like I consider that the fat ass. But you consider the fat ass them not going up there. Like it's obvious to you like they didn't go up there.
I mean, that's what I was. I never knew any other story until I didn't.
Wait, I'm confused. Wait. So ever since you were a kid, you were told that we didn't go to the moon and the Earth is
I was
flat. Is
told
that
the
what you're saying?
same thing I was told. I went to school, the globe in the classroom. I know everything everybody else told. What are you talking about? I was told everything everybody else was told. I went to American school just like you.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe by your parents or your other
Nah,
people in
fuck no.
your life.
My parents don't aren't flat earthers. My wife's not a flat earther. What are you talking about? They think this shit is ridiculous.
Yeah, I might have to agree with you. The same way they told everybody that all black people were slaves, they're just brainwashing. It's not
Yeah,
until you're older you find out, oh, some black people actually owned slaves. Some black people were free.
yeah.
So
And
how do you
then
think GPS works?
50
How do you
years
think
from now,
GPS
they're going to say the cops used to be blacks. You couldn't even go outside your house.
Yeah,
You're just
exactly.
beaten.
Exactly. And GPS works with hot air balloons and drones. And also GPS is a lot of the wires are under the ground, like the grounded wires underneath this ocean, cables underneath the ocean.
Do you believe in satellites, Sock, or not?
Nah, I believe satellites are fake. I just don't believe that these are the best cars on the market at this time in 1969. And this is the best they can do.
No, they weren't. They weren't. Those were designed to be consumer available at a price point with planned obsolescence so that you had to buy another one in 3 years. No, they weren't the best tech they had, but they had to be able to produce, 2 million of them.
So they had a Hummer back then. They just didn't put it out on the
I
free
don't think
market.
anyone could have been able to afford a Hummer back then, first of all. They have to make it affordable.
No, but I mean, there was no Hummer anywhere. Like where, like.
Well, how is the Hummer's tech much more advanced than what you're seeing here? It's just a big engine inside a big piece of iron rolling down the road on a suspension. Is there some sort
Well, I
of?
mean, you have different you ever seen a car from nowadays? Fiberglass.
Yeah, but
There's
that's not
lighter
Hummers weren't like
materials.
that.
No, but what I'm saying is like there's obviously more technology. Like I mean, if you go to a car plant where they made the cars, like from then to today, it's like you gotta understand this is the best. Like to act like they're not putting the best they got out at any given moment, to think that like, well, we're holding back just because
I really think you're off on this, man, because look, car companies go out of business. And if they had access to the better tech, wouldn't they? Fuck this. We're going to lose our shirts. We need to put out the tech that we've been hiding from all these people all this time.
That's what I'm saying. They did. And this was the best.
I mean, I kind of disagree with the other guy on the panel. I mean, I think this is probably the best they had for the time.
It was the best that could be
maybe they have
produced.
better like in a Rolls Royce or something, or Mercedes.
Yes,
but, I mean,
exactly.
this is probably top of the line tech that they had back then. I mean, now you're comparing fiberglass, you're comparing like composites that weren't even able to be produced because of scientific innovations. Yeah, like so you expected them to have like LCD screens right from the beginning, or like it's evolution. I mean, compare this car from the 1960s to the original like Henry Ford Model T or whatever, right? I mean, it's an evolutionary process.
And you need a certain amount of evolution to go to the fucking moon, and I don't believe they had it in 1969.
I mean, is it really that complex to go to the moon? For everything to work and not blow up in your face, and yes, but I mean, what we're looking at is a rocket, pretty simple to understand, that pushes something up high into the atmosphere and out into orbit, and it has to be airtight, and it has to have something to protect you from radiation, and it has to have a guidance system. I mean, these are all pretty easy concepts to understand. Now, integrating all that and engineering all that, that's the trick. But it doesn't sound that difficult, any more difficult than sailing across the ocean. You need a hull, you need a propulsion device, you need the wind or some sort of motor, but it can't leak, and you can't get your direction fucked up. You go off course and never come back. But it's kind of the same sort of principles, just in an abstract sense. It's not inconceivable that we could fly, off the planet and go somewhere else.
Going down to the Challenger Deep, they say is actually a much more difficult task than going to space.
Yeah. Because the pressure. We saw what happened to those billionaires in the submarine. That's why it's tough.
But how much gas does it take?
Hostile environment.
How much gas would it take to get to the moon, and how does it fit? How does all that gas fit on that?
It's not gas. It's it's liquid hydrogen that gets you out of our gravitational pull, and then inertia keeps you going to the moon. And then they're able to use the gravitational pull of the moon when they slingshot around it, and it's like
that worked the first time. They did work perfectly.
No, they had all kinds of fuck ups. They had shit blowing up on the launching pad, and they had.
No, I'm talking about out there, not on the launching pad where you can see it, where they can
in '69 when they did it. Yes, it worked, but they had orbited the moon.
No, but the slingshot around the moon on orbit worked the first time. Perfect.
I don't remember if there was a mission where they orbited the moon before
they
landed on or not.
There wasn't. All the other shit was on the launching pad where you could see it.
No, they orbited the Earth.
Out there, everything works. Everything works perfect out there.
I don't think everything did work perfect. No, there were definitely in that first Apollo 11 mission. There were definitely things that screwed up. They kept it kind of hush, but there were definitely things that were like, "Oh, we might be losing this crew." There were certain things that they had trouble with that they kept out of the broadcast, but they had to kind of fix and figure out. And they definitely had glitches and problems that were overcome. That's why it's kind of such a marvel that even thinking on their feet in the midst of this huge journey, they were able to kind of save the mission and not lose the 3 astronauts that went up there. That much like in Apollo 13, when they were losing their oxygen and stuff, apparently that really happened. unless they faked a glitch so that we could be heroically glued to our TV to watch this. No, I think we went to the moon. I feel pretty
So this is
confident.
the lunar
come on,
module. This
if
is
Hidden
the lunar
Figures,
module.
if Hidden Figures wouldn't convince you, man, those three
Yeah,
sisters did all that math. Come on.
No, that's true. That's true. That makes me reconsider. That's the only thing that makes me consider that this thing right here went to the fucking moon. That shit right there.
The sisters
That
covering
right
our math.
there.
Oh, this.
Yeah, that's right here. The sisters' math is the only thing that makes me believe that this thing could go to the moon and work perfectly the first time.
Have you seen the new Netflix? Is it Netflix? The new movie about the sisters during the Second World War who sorted our mail and defeated Hitler.
Oh yeah,
It's
33 and
the
the
6888 or whatever it's called. Yeah,
yeah.
it looks terrible. It's all about. It's just the whole thing is literally just. You can even tell by the trailer. It's just like white people are fucking mean racists, and it's just a struggle for a woman to even sort mail without having to deal with white oppression. It's hilarious.
Right.
Yeah, I may hate watch it.
Yeah.
That's amazing, yo. So they flew the thing up there, and then they unpacked this, and they landed on the moon with this. And the guy was back on the ship. Where was he? Just floating? In the
Orbiting.
ship?
He was orbiting. Yep. And the
he's
Eagle
recording.
landed
He
on
was
the
recording.
moon.
And he's recording. See, even fucked up here, but it was perfect on the moon.
Well, the moon was different from what you're looking at there.
Oh, okay.
The moon
All
is
right,
like,
man.
what is it? Like maybe 1/100th of our gravity.
No, I think it's
So,
1/8. I think it's 1/8. It's
1/8.
yeah.
Which is still basically nothing. It's much easier for things to take off with such a low amount of gravity.
So he was orbiting, but they trusted that his orbit would never take him off course, and he was just going to be there when they were ready to come back.
Well, the science behind it is that it can't take him off course. Once you set something in motion, it goes on that path unless you counteract it with another force. And
he wasn't scared when he was orbiting, and they got it like they.
I got to think they were all,
sight.
These are confident guys who were fighter pilots and test pilots and stuff, but I'm sure they must have dealt with they're literally, like you say, they're flying through the cosmos in a tin can. It's the first time they've done it, and they hope everything works, and it did.
Everything worked.
They went through a lot of protocols. I mean, the people that broke the sound barrier, right?
Look at the first airplanes, man.
Test pilots are really, really brave. Like they
ice
have
in
like
their
a
veins.
adrenaline rush.
Ice in their veins, man.
And also,
but look at the first
what I heard
flying
was
machines
real quick.
and now
What I heard was
today.
that.
I mean, that's
Yeah, I was just gonna say what I heard was that when they were practicing to go to the moon, they practiced so much, like they kept those guys kind of deliberately separated from each other.
How do you practice going to the moon though if you've never been to the moon?
Well, you do anti-gravity. Whether they take you up.
How do you know for sure that that's the gravity up there? Because that would only be a theory because you've never been to the moon.
You're right. It's only a theory until they do it and they find out, wow, this is real. This is
So the theory was perfect when they went to the moon.
Well, the theory is built on years of science and confirmation
but your
of theory.
equipment is built. Your equipment and all your tools and all your gauges and all your instruments is based on your theory.
Yes.
So if you build all your gauges and stuff like that on the theory that it's going to be like this, and you get up there and voila, everything's just like we thought it was going to be.
Yes.
On the moon, 250,000 miles away.
Well, they weren't sure if they would sink into the moon. They didn't. If it was all dust, they didn't know how deep the legs of the lander craft would go. There's a lot of stuff they weren't sure about, but they had to roll the dice and gamble. I'm amazed that, like you said, that when the Eagle relaunches or whatever and reunites with the whatever the command the orbiting ship was called, I don't remember, but that seems crazy to me that they were able to redock. That seems like would be the hardest thing to do, to time that. And I mean, and make that connection and be able to transfer guys into from one craft to another. But that's what they do in the space station now, like every day. You know, they're just, or maybe they don't. Maybe it's all a lie and the Earth is flat. You know.
I mean, at the very least, like the way you bring up stuff like this, Doc, I mean, it kind of makes me say, okay, maybe I should have that little bit of skepticism about it. Maybe a 1/1000% skepticism about it. Like, okay, the whole when the lander takes off and connects to the orbiting thing in the moon, you know, I took it for granted, but yeah, that is a unbelievable like achievement to do something like that. Is crazy.
Yeah.
But when we say stuff to kind of like counteract your views, does it kind of make you feel like, okay, maybe they're onto something, or no, you know, does it move the needle whatsoever?
I've heard everything you're saying. I've already heard though.
There was a time when I was suspicious that perhaps we didn't go to the moon. You know, you see photographs and someone says, "How come of this?" And you don't have the answer yourself. And you go, "Yeah, how come that? Why does the flag look like it's moving? Why, you know, all the various, why is the shadow coming over from over here when the source of light should be here?" But I've heard, you know, very learned people say, "Well, here's why." And then I'm like, "Oh, okay." You know, but there was definitely a period in my life when I was much more skeptical of you know, government's tales of NASA's great achievements. But it's easy to plant that suspicion because that's kind of how we are as a species. We're curious, we're suspicious, we're fearful. And when someone says, "No, we didn't go to the moon, man. Check out these photos. How could this happen? And how could that happen?" And you're like, "Oh shit." But
they put this shit together by hand. Okay, so they put the lunar models together. Look at this computer. This computer, my cell phone.
Yep.
An app on my cell phone has more computing power than
absolutely.
This. There's an app, not even the cell phone.
But that's all explainable.
App. Okay.
You know, because how you made a circuit, you know, what used to be through copper wires had to get smaller and smaller. It went from copper wires to copper flat leads on a PC board. And from that, it goes to something that's a hair.
Remember, we can't get there now, and we could get there then.
Where are you hearing we can't get to the moon now? Who says that?
Are you saying that they wouldn't go to the fucking moon? Right? If they went to the
moon, they're planning on going to Mars,
now,
man. They're planning on going to Mars. Nobody's saying we can't get to the moon.
Oh, so they're just gonna skip the moon.
We've already been to the moon.
We are going
talking about we're gonna put a space station up on the moon and start to.
We're not gonna check in on the moon. We're not just gonna stunt or flex just to go to the moon. Like, yeah, motherfucker, look, we went to the moon. We're not gonna.
We have like
70s.
5
Go ahead, man.
Astronauts. We have 5 astronauts that are currently training right now to go to the moon. Like we are going to put people on the moon within a couple of years.
Just go. Why not just go? Just go. What are you training? Like, just go. The training they did now is way harder than the training they did then. The training they did then was nothing. They went to the moon.
Well, the equipment we used to go to the moon is far different from what it was in 1969. And
far better or different?
Both. Far better.
Far better or okay. So they
far better and far different because it's far better.
So they go to the fucking moon then. Same black time, same black channel. I'm out of here. Peace out.
All right, man.
Peace out.